Lois, what are you doing?
Experimenting?
No!
Oh, so this is your idea.
What it is, guys? It's your boy BlastphamousHD, and you guys have sent me a video on Discord that's pretty much got every single Stewie Griffin fight scene imaginable up in that mug. You guys want to watch the original video? Link in the description down below. Let's do this.
Number 1. Bertram tries to erase Stewie's ancestors in Season 9, Episode 16. After Lois left, Stewie confided in Brian about wanting to order an item through a magazine. Brian mocked him, joking that Stewie would end up ordering the guy on the cover of the magazine.
What do you want to order? Oh wait, let me guess. Him.
He got you, Stewie!
Stewie fires back with a cutting remark, which leads Brian and Chris to tease him.
You would take the magazine and you'd put it on the floor and pee on it because you're a dog and you're stupid and you have a weird toenail halfway up your elbow.
Nice comeback.
Jeez, that one was all over the place.
To get the upper hand, Stewie decides to turn back time and outdo Brian in mocking him, and succeeds.
What do you want to order? Oh wait, let me guess. Him.
Really? Why would I order your ex-boyfriend? He got you, Brian!
Stewie is thrilled and wonders why he hadn't thought of this before, now always having his own signature comeback, much like the guy controlling the landing of the moon mission.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Roger that, Neil. We came in peace for all the peoples of the earth. We read you, Neil.
The guy, Neil, goes on to explain that humanity didn't choose the moon because it was easy, but because it was hard. Quite a contradiction, isn't it?
We chose to go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Have a lot of help down here, Neil. We have slipped the surly bonds of earth and touched the face of God. Yeah, if you could just grab some rocks, Neil, throw them in a bag, we'll get you home safe and sound.
Stewie then plans to go back in time to embarrass Brian further. He travels back to the courtship of Stewie's father, to the moment when Brian is about to sing Peanut Butter Jelly Time.
Oh, don't feel bad, Peter. Hey, I know what'll cheer you up. Hey, where the hell's my banana thing?
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time.
Stewie steals Brian's banana suit and performs the song for Peter instead, making him laugh.
Peanut butter jelly time, where yet, where yet?
Oh my God! Oh, Stewie, that is so funny! Oh, I did not see that coming!
Brian, frustrated, tells Stewie that it was his joke, but Stewie dismisses it, saying it was an internet meme.
But that was my thing.
I'm pretty sure it was the internet's thing. Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
Next, Stewie plans to disrupt his earlier date with a Victoria's Secret model, which Brian discovers and tries to stop him. Stewie and Brian begin fighting for control of the time machine.
No, don't touch that! Come on,
Let me see that. Move out of the way.
No, you can't!
I'm gonna let you do
You
this.
just touched my boob, I'm gonna tell Mom!
Inadvertently being thrown out of the space-time continuum to a place with no past, no future, and no universe, but only an advertisement for Cleveland's show. Hilarious, right?
But still somehow a large, brightly colored promo for the Cleveland show.
Hey y'all, it's the Cleveland Show!
Huh, that's weird. Black guys usually don't promote themselves.
Brian becomes anxious, urging Stewie to hurry and bring them back home, but the return pad doesn't work here because the laws of physics don't apply.
The way a fool would do madly,
Like Mario Paint.
because you held me tight and stole a kiss in the night.
Stewie tells Brian he can overload the return pad, which would cause an explosion that will send them to the future. Though Stewie doesn't want to do it, Brian convinces him by saying that he'll tell Stewie a story he's never heard, but only if Stewie tries it.
Never steal kisses. That's how they got Jeffrey Epstein, I think.
Stewie agrees and they return to the present.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. Okay, now tell me the joke.
Oh, it's nothing really. It's just this bit about a Planned Parenthood clinic on Halloween.
Next.
Afterwards, Stewie realizes that their explosion in the space-time continuum was the Big Bang, and he is the one who created the universe.
So wait, that means that I kind of created the universe too.
No. You're sort of the Art Garfunkel of the universe.
Art Garfunkel of the universe? Guess that makes you the guy who does all the work while I sit back and enjoy the fame. The next morning after breakfast, Stewie announces he's going to the farmer's market to buy plutonium for the time machine. Organic plutonium, of course.
Yep, I'm only using organic plutonium now. Think globally, buy locally. Hey, slut, get me out of this.
At the market, Stewie approaches a stall run by a man who happens to be a terrorist and buys the plutonium.
So how's the whole terrorism thing going?
Well, the good news is my son died in a car bombing. The bad news is he borrowed my car.
Bad.
The vendor, dealing with
Terrible
marital
and bad.
problems, asks Stewie for a favor when handing over the goods, which takes Stewie by surprise.
I hope you kill my bitch wife with it.
Whoa,
No.
whoa, where's that coming from?
Wow.
I'm just a little upset because she left me. I guess she didn't know what jihad. Come on!
Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile, Bertram, Stewie's half-brother, watches from a distance and decides to use Stewie's time machine for his own malicious purposes.
I am gonna kill one of your ancestors, effectively erasing you from history!
He sneaks into Stewie's house, wakes him up, and distracts him with a toy lawnmower.
You know, it's funny. I had actually stopped playing with that toy, but now that I see you with it, I kind of want to play with it again. Look at me! I'm mowing the lawn!
As Stewie becomes distracted, Bertram rewinds time to when Brian enters the room, triggering a cascade of time waves that start erasing everything. They end up somewhere in Venice, Italy, around the late 1400s or early 1500s. Stewie discovers that Leonardo da Vinci is one of his ancestors.
Da Vinci must be my ancestor. Good Lord! That's who Bertram's here to kill!
So that means you're Italian.
Of course, my love for SpaghettiOs and smoking on the toilet. It all makes sense.
Ew.
He deduces that since both he and Bertram share DNA from Peter, Bertram has traveled to this time to eliminate Stewie without affecting his own existence. Brian, unsure of what to do, is reassured by Stewie, who reminds him that he's a genius, much like Thomas Edison.
Remember, I'm a genius, like Thomas Edison.
Thomas, what are you doing?
Experimenting?
Oh, so this is your idea of hands-on learning, interesting approach.
No.
When Bertram arrives, he throws a knife at Leonardo, forcing Stewie to jump in and block the attack with a paint palette.
Stewie! That's my name, don't wear it out. See, that's brand new to him.
A fierce battle follows, with the two stealing Leonardo's early flight inventions and fighting mid-air. Stewie is briefly distracted by a male statue. Well, I guess someone's already a fan of classic art. Finally, Stewie found Bertram's weakness and fired a rocket, blowing up his glider. On the ground, when Bertram pulls out a crossbow and threatens them, Stewie is undeterred. Despite being warned that killing Leonardo could destroy the universe, Bertram kills Leonardo anyway.
So if you kill me, you're killing yourself and everything else that ever existed or will exist.
Worth it!
This leads to a final showdown where Stewie wrestles the crossbow from Bertram and shoots him in the chest and head, killing him.
Hey, Bertram, what's your favorite kind of bottled water? Mine's Arrowhead.
Brian later complains about their failures, but then realizes that the universe hasn't disappeared. Stewie recognizes that there's still a slim chance he could be born. Seeing that Bertram has wet his pants, Stewie hatches a plan to ensure his own ancestry by injecting his DNA into Leonardo's girlfriend.
So I'll take Da Vinci's place and pass it on.
Wait, how'd you get that from bowels?
Huh?
I was just wondering how you got that from... You know what? I don't care.
He sends Brian back to the future to check if the plan works, and a Vatican priest delivers a letter written by Stewie under the alias of Leonardo da Vinci. Stewie has frozen himself in their basement. Later, Brian digs him out, and Stewie tries to trick Brian into kissing him, but the plan fails when Brian suggests taking Meg instead.
You gotta kiss him to wake him up.
I guess you gonna
I'm not
sleep
gonna kiss
forever.
you.
Stewie can't hear you. He's not awake. Only a kiss will wake him up.
Well, time to
I
bring
better
her
get
back.
Meg.
Oh, where am I?
As a gift, Stewie gives Brian a candle from that time period, but Brian doesn't appreciate it.
A candle? I can get a candle now. You couldn't have grabbed me one of his original notebooks? You know, I didn't have to bring you back anything.
It's almost like you didn't.
Number 2. The Turtles' evil plot against Stewie in Season 11, Episode 6. The story kicks off when Lois takes Stewie to the park. While there, she notices other mothers happily playing with their kids and decides she wants to do the same with Stewie. However, as she picks him up, she realizes something is wrong with her back, causing her to accidentally drop Stewie.
Ow, son of a bitch! Oh my god, Stewie, are you alright?
Nice throw, Casey Anthony.
Annoyed, Stewie stomps off to a nearby pond, where he notices a scratch on his face. He hopes the Sears workers might be able to fix his now pitiful-looking mug. At that moment, a turtle appears. Stewie, surprisingly unafraid, takes an instant liking to it, even sharing his colorful and eccentric tales with the little creature.
How about Michelle Rodriguez? Yeah, me too, kinda, right? You know, she's got like a cute tomboy thing where you feel like you could play softball with her and then later on give her the old sausage.
He expresses his fondness for the turtle, calling it cute and believing they share an unspoken bond that all bald men understand.
I thought he'd never leave.
Me neither.
That does not happen.
Oh, did you guys just do the thing?
That evening, Stewie, ever the adorable host, introduces the turtle to his toys, fire trucks, a spring, and of course his coolest possession, a seriously flexible piece of plastic.
Oh, this looks like fun! It says I have cancer.
We thought it would be better if you heard it from chemicals in an egg.
He names the turtle Sheldon and proudly presents it to Brian. Stewie cheerfully mentions that he brought Sheldon home just as Rupert was heading off to the gym, but when he glances over at Rupert, he's shocked to discover that Rupert has lost an eye.
I brought him home today, and coincidentally, this is the day Rupert started working out again. So transparent. Rupert, what happened to your eye?
Brian suspects that the turtle is the culprit, but Stewie defends Sheldon, claiming the turtle is well-mannered. It's only when Stewie and Brian leave the room that Sheldon's true malicious nature is revealed.
Oh. That is messed
Following
up.
days in Stewie's room are anything but peaceful. When Stewie flips to the next page of his book to show Sheldon, he's unexpectedly injured by a paper cutter that was left as a bookmark.
Ah, paper cut! A razor blade? Who the hell uses a razor blade as a bookmark?
It's not just Stewie who's falling victim to the turtle's antics. Brian is too. He accuses Stewie of switching his Jack Daniels with diet soda, and when Stewie denies it, the two start arguing. Brian mentions a series of strange occurrences, like someone replacing Meg's sleeping pills with Alka-Seltzer.
People are gonna miss me when I'm...
Or sending Peter a hot butt for a gift.
La 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 la, regular life, la 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 la.
Stewie believes there must be a logical explanation for the chaos, but just as he says this, a cupboard crashes down, almost crushing him.
Okay, who replaced my glasses with forks? I mean, they're real good for seeing forks, but not much else.
Later that night, Stewie is woken by the sight of Sheldon crawling up onto his bed. At first, Stewie assumes the turtle is just lost and plans to return it to its jar. But as he heads to the door, the turtle reveals its evil side, hurling the jar at him.
Well, long as I'm up, I might as well go spit in Lois's mouth.
Luckily, Stewie dodges it, but the encounter leaves him shaken. Stewie tries to leave the room, only to be blocked by Sheldon. Terrified, he locks himself in his room, but somehow, Sheldon still manages to enter like a ghost. Forced to act, Stewie throws the turtle into the toilet and flushes it away.
Get out!
Oops, didn't mean to catch the live performance. You'd think that would be the end of it, but no. After being washed down the drain, Sheldon emerges from a lake, cold and unbothered. He even takes out a seagull that tries to stop him before continuing on his way. Seagulls to the turtle. You win, we're out. The bad guy always gets the right of way. One sunny evening, Stewie gets a phone call, one he imagines to be from a newspaper editor wanting to quote Rupert on Stewie's dancing skills. But to his horror, Rupert is nowhere to be found. Instead, Stewie discovers a gift box, likely sent by the wicked turtle.
Magnolia cupcakes. Rupert! Oh my god! Oh my god, no! If he did this to you, I swear I'll kill him!
Furious, Stewie vows revenge for Rupert's disappearance, and just when his emotions are running high, he stumbles upon another creepy gift box.
What's that box from Bloomingdale's doing here? I don't know who this is.
That night, Stewie comes to the realization that Sheldon is back. He pretends to be asleep to lure the turtle in, then, when the time is right, launches a surprise attack.
out here and fight me!
The two engage in an epic and comedic battle. Sheldon scurries downstairs, setting a trap that injures Stewie.
Now batting, Stewie Griffin. Oh, crap.
In the chaos, Stewie can't help but comment that Sheldon's grotesque form looks like Larry David naked.
Ugh, you look like a nude Larry David.
Wow, you two are like a before and before picture. But Sheldon isn't fazed. Just as he's about to strike Stewie, a miraculous savior appears. Super Mario falls from the sky and swoops in to save the day.
No! Oh my god, Super Mario! What are you doing here?
I jump on a turtle, Stewie. It's not an exciting life, but is my life.
Number 3, Stewie's clone from Season 9, Episode 12. Brian takes Stewie to the park, where Stewie happily starts building a sandcastle, but soon a boy comes along and destroys it before walking off. Stewie, visibly frustrated, tells the boy to stop, only to be met with a condescending reply, "What do you want, freak?" Stewie remains calm and responds, "Just wait a second, let me fix this little problem."
Alright, I think we're all set here.
Oh.
Wow. Never seen that happen before.
Stewie can hardly believe it's happening. After all, he's assembled this gun millions of times. Brian suggests that it's not the gun, but rather that Stewie has mellowed out, and it's true. He's been busy learning the things a child needs to know, like how to use the bathroom.
Hey, I got a lot on my plate, man. I'm learning to use the toilet. I'm learning what shapes are. I spent half an hour laughing at my own feet yesterday.
Brian points out that this is exactly why Stewie's lost his edge. Stewie brushes off Brian's comments, raising his foot to kick him. But then, almost instinctively, he bursts out laughing at the sight of his own foot.
I don't care for your tone, and I'd say you deserve a good kick. Look, Brian, look at them.
Later that night, after reflecting on Brian's words, Stewie realizes that he's become too soft. So he invents a device to help boost his mental focus and activate his more vicious side. However, after using the device, he feels no different.
Well, how do you feel?
I don't know. I don't feel any different.
Stewie decides he just needs more time to fine-tune it and asks Brian to help him retrieve a few of Peter's old gadgets from the gay rage.
Look, your machine obviously didn't work.
Oh, just needs a few adjustments, that's all. Come on, help me get some of Peter's tools out of the garage.
When they step outside, the machine unexpectedly emits a signal and summons a sinister-looking clone of Stewie, except this one is wearing a red shirt and yellow overalls.
The garage. I'm mad that he said that. Word?
The next morning, as Brian watches TV, the clone with the menacing stare approaches him slowly, causing Brian to jump in surprise. When Brian asks about the strange outfit, the clone coolly grabs the remote and removes the batteries to give Brian a special surprise.
Oh. Let's play the Christmas music while it's going on. That's what they're doing, huh?
Then bolts out the door. When the real Stewie comes in and asks what happened, Brian assumes it's the clone, and he begins trying to avoid Stewie, thinking it's the dangerous version. Stewie tells Brian to calm down.
Oh, easy, easy, man, easy.
What the hell is your problem?
Me? What did I do? You're the one going all Michael Hutchins over here.
As the argument escalates, the clone reappears, and Brian gasps, "Oh my god."
What?
Oh my god.
Good lord. I am a genius.
Brian turns to Stewie and asks, "What the hell is that?" Stewie calmly explains that his machine worked, creating an evil version of him. This explains why he's been so nice lately. Brian is furious and demands that Stewie get rid of it, but Stewie disagrees, insisting that the clone could be useful for research. Perhaps it could help upgrade his nervous system.
Evil Stewie, come with me. We're going to run a few tests on...
Yep. There you go. Definitely have
Created
to
a clone
now.
to help me out, and now it's literally taking me down. Self-improvement just got violent. The clone knocks Stewie out and then turns its attention to Brian, delivering double the damage and causing Brian intense pain. The clone then climbs through the window and runs outside, stopping a passing car to do something even more horrendous.
Oh my god, a baby! Are you okay?
Damn.
That was so evil, even Darth Vader would say, "Whoa, take it easy." Brian and Stewie jump in the car to track down the clone. On the way, Brian suggests the clone could be anywhere, and it's all Stewie's fault. Stewie protests, saying it's Brian's fault for encouraging him to stop being so cruel in the first place, which led to the creation of this evil clone. Stewie worries that the clone is out there causing havoc, and sure enough, the clone is setting a trap to trick Kool-Aid Man.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
I'm not looking for trouble, I'm just here for a soda shin. Stewie comes up with a brilliant plan to lure the clone out. He ties Brian to a flagpole in the park as bait, hoping the clone will show up. Brian, using some clever taunts, finally gets the clone to appear with a gun.
Hey, well, you know, you're doing me a favor. I've had enough. I can't live with that stupid family anymore. Do me a favor and end it all for me, will you?
Delighted to oblige, Brian.
Stewie drops down from a tree and tries to take control of the situation, but the gun is knocked out of their hands and the two start fighting hand to hand. The struggle gets so intense that by the end of it, they're both left wearing only diapers. Finally, Brian manages to untie himself and grab the gun, but he's in a tough spot. He can't tell which Stewie is the real one, as they both look the same in their diapers.
Oh, come on, not this thing, really?
In a moment of brilliance, Brian tells them to look at their feet. The real Stewie would be the one who laughs like a maniac when he looks down at his foot.
Look at your feet.
Why? They're just feet. What are they doing down there? They're like leg hands.
Stewie praises Brian for his clever thinking, and Brian hopes he's made the right choice. But as they walk away, Stewie turns back to the camera with glowing yellow eyes, looking like Michael Jackson in a music video, and it's clear that Brian might have made the wrong choice after all. Number 4. Stewie's girlfriend in Season 10, Episode 19. In this episode, Brian takes Stewie to a live reading event by author Jonathan Franzen. Stewie, unimpressed, expresses his dislike for listening to authors read their own works, recalling a terrible experience he had with Dr. Seuss.
And when the drugs stopped numbing the pain, the sex became even more violent.
It doesn't rhyme.
The new stuff doesn't rhyme!
Once seated, Brian quickly tries to impress the girl next to him by falsely claiming that Jonathan Franzen is the best writer among his students. Just as he's bragging, an announcement comes over the speaker. Franzen won't be showing up, much to everyone's disappointment. Brian attempts to take the spotlight, but Stewie shoots him down with a quick spray of water.
Mr. Franzen has informed us he's not coming. Like most real authors, he's too good for this dumb town.
I hate it here! Well, this crowd was promised an author. No!
Yeah, nice job, Stewie. She mentions she needs to head back to her dorm to finish a law paper, to which Brian seizes the opportunity to offer his help in reviewing it before submission. The girl agreed, which made Stewie furious and sarcastically mock her.
Come on, we're going.
All right, hold on. Is this what your parents are paying all that tuition for?
Come
so you
on,
can
bro.
dogs?
At the dorm, Brian quickly followed the girl into the bedroom, leaving Stewie in the living room to watch a movie. Such a naughty dog.
Here, watch one of her movies or something.
Ugh, Charlie St. Cloud? And why are there so many fingerprints on this? Who's handling their Charlie St. Cloud DVD all the time?
Later on the drive home, Stewie sulks, prompting Brian to try and cheer him up by taking him to the park. There, Stewie sees a child playing with a toy he likes and asks to join, only to be coldly rejected. "No, it's mine," the kid says, shoving Stewie to the ground. Just then, Penelope appears, asking if Stewie is okay. The two hit it off, with Penelope offering to let him play with her toys, but only after she deals with the rude child by giving him a candy.
Ruthless.
Don't push.
At Penelope's house, Stewie and she bond over playing dolls, and Stewie quickly becomes smitten with her. They discover they have a lot in common, including the fact that both have secret weapon caches in their rooms. Penelope's even larger than Stewie's, making cleaning up a real chore, especially with Consuela, the slow housekeeper.
Yes, although sometimes I think it's too big. It takes the cleaning woman forever to clean it.
What's already broken?
When Stewie learns that Penelope used her weapons to eliminate a character from Sex and the City, he's both impressed and intrigued by her ruthlessness. Stewie is particularly drawn to her after she reveals she made her mother disappear from the world.
No, she died. She was taking a tub and somebody came in and cut her head off.
Wait a moment. Did you kill her?
Well, I held the knife. And her hair.
That kid is so evil, even the devil is asking for tips. Stewie, completely enamored, kneels before her and says he's finally found his ideal partner. Penelope agrees, declaring that they're meant to be together. Stewie, thrilled, compares the feeling to Maverick meeting Goose.
This must be how Maverick felt when he met Goose.
I feel the need for speed! In Scientology. No, just speed.
Together, they wreak havoc in Quahog, including a bomb Stewie planted in Mort's wallet that upon opening would create a huge explosion. The duo laughs as they follow Mort, only to be disappointed when Mort goes on vacation for 2 weeks without ever opening his wallet.
Oh, bloody hell, how do you go 2 weeks without opening your wallet?
Yeah, he's been out to dinner like 4 times.
Undeterred, Stewie builds a new bomb that goes off when Mort burps into it. Both bombs explode at once, disintegrating Mort completely.
Oh, I better make sure my wallet's okay.
How do you make a Jewish guy laugh? Tell him a joke about spending money. The chaos continues as Stewie triggers a tsunami to destroy Copenhagen.
Roaring, twenting, paddle waving!
And Penelope takes things even further by bombing the Great Wall of China, the Eiffel Tower, and several other landmarks around the world, even causing international tensions.
Look at this note I sent off. Dear Pakistan, up yours. Love, India. Let's see what happens.
They did not need much.
Back at home, the news reports that authorities are searching for the masterminds behind the destruction, and Brian immediately suspects Stewie and Penelope.
Our top story, authorities are still searching for the culprits in a series of horrific acts of destruction all across... Scroll down, guys. The globe. That could have fit on there. There was a long space at the end of that line.
Stewie admits he's always wanted to rule the world, and Brian realizes Stewie's in a toxic relationship, one that Penelope has led him into. Brian warns Stewie not to spend so much time with her, but Stewie refuses to listen and storms off.
Penelope is wonderful. We're going to be together forever.
Well, Rupert, this is a big mess.
What the hell were you doing talking to him?
Later, after some reflection, Stewie tries to give Penelope some advice, that she shouldn't harm people every day. Penelope gets upset, demanding to know if Stewie loves her, and if so, he should help her take down Brian.
Family Guy is brought to you by Axe Body Spray. Axe Body Spray. Spray it on after gym class instead of getting beat up in the shower. Kinda weird those guys want to fight you naked, huh? Axe Body Spray.
After some careful thought, Stewie decides to go through with it and tries to take down Brian using various tools, though all his attempts fail, even hurting himself in the process.
Oh, my kidding. I can't do this.
I was gonna cause chaos, but tripped over my own plans. Stewie returns to Penelope, admitting he couldn't go through with it because Brian is his best friend. He thought Penelope would understand, but instead, she decides to handle Brian herself. Stewie, resigned, remarks, "Strong women are always the nightmares, like Joan of Arc."
I kill people and burp and watch so much porn. Isn't that cool?
No.
I like a lot of goofball comedies that other chicks don't like. My favorite thing to play is Call of Duty.
Joan, though about to be burned at the stake, remains upbeat and indifferent, casually talking about her personal interests.
Look me up. I'm Guitar Girl 76.
Let's burn this chick at the stake.
I love steak. Other girls don't. I'm actually more like a dude. Hey guys, don't come in my room. I might be rubbing one in.
Stewie manages to return home just in time to stop Brian from drinking coffee that Penelope had poisoned. Brian lies about eating a donut, prompting Stewie to help him throw up.
Stewie, you out of your mind? Trust me, I'm only doing what's best for you.
Well, I do feel pretty thin and wonderful. And I still got to eat the donut. Why isn't everybody doing this?
They are.
Just then, a delivery man arrives for Brian, but Stewie intervenes, throwing the package away before it can explode. Brian, confused, asks what's going on, and Stewie, tearfully apologizing, explains everything before escorting him to safety.
Penelope told me I had to kill you because you said we should break up, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, so then she said she was gonna kill you and... This is not for you. That was weird. What was he doing?
But it's too late. Penelope arrives and kills the delivery man. She tells Stewie to step aside so she can finish off Brian, but Stewie refuses. Brian, though, reassures Stewie that she's just a 1-year-old child.
Stewie, she's 1 year old. I think I can handle this myself.
All right, Stewie, tag in.
That kid's so tough, even Chuck Norris would think twice before picking a fight. Stewie charges at Penelope, but she fights back fiercely, even willing to take down Stewie if necessary.
Anti-gravity gun! This is beyond my technology. Perhaps if I detonate an electromagnetic pulse, it will disable it.
Though Penelope's weapons seem a bit more advanced, Stewie's intelligence gives him the upper hand, and he finally gains the advantage. Penelope agrees to leave Brian alone, but as she retreats, she kisses Stewie and uses a wire gun to hang him upside down from a streetlight. With a smile, she walks away.
That was beautiful. I'm gonna tell my friends I banged her.
In the end, Stewie admits Brian was right about Penelope, and life returns to normal. Well, as normal as it can be for the Griffins. Meg, however, remains the only one left out of the action, as she has no scenes in the entire episode.
You okay?
I will be. I will be, babe.
Oh, hey, Meg. What have you been up to?
Number 5, facing the Hannah Montana robot in Season 8, Episode 5. Stewie is watching TV when he learns that Hannah Montana is coming to Quahog for a concert in just 3 days. Excited, he can't wait to go, but his joy quickly turns to frustration when the
I didn't know they had Hannah Montana on Family Guy.
host announces that all the tickets have already sold out.
Oh, no. I'm calling anyway. I need Hannah Montana tickets and I need them now. Never mind who this is. Can you get them or not? I guess I should dial something first.
Brian, hearing the commotion, asks what's going on when he sees that Stewie is watching Hannah Montana, where the father is awkwardly dealing with his daughter's 2 identities.
You can't tell Hannah what to do. She's not your daughter.
Wait, so Miley's my daughter, but Hannah isn't?
Right.
Great. Put your wig on. Shut up. This is real.
Brian mocks him for being a fan of the show. Stewie denies liking it at first, but admits he's secretly obsessed with Miley Cyrus. Desperate, he begs Brian to help him get a ticket to the concert. Brian refuses, calling it a stupid waste of time, but Stewie tearfully declares that Hannah Montana is his hero.
Are you crying?
Yes, Hannah Montana is my hero. I love her so much, and this is the only time she's gonna be in town, and now I'll never get to see her. Will you help me?
All right, fine.
Reluctantly, Brian agrees, and the two sneak into the venue, taking advantage of the distracted security. After searching, Stewie spots his idol, but as he tries to act cool, he can't contain his excitement when he sees Miley in person.
Okay, now remember to play it cool. Act like you belong here. Oh my God, Miley, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. Can I touch your hair? Ah!
Surprised by the two strangers, Miley asks how they got in, to which Brian quickly lies, saying Stewie is a huge fan and, on a whim, claims that Stewie has cancer to tug at her heartstrings.
This is my friend Stewie. He's just a baby, and he's your biggest fan, and he has cancer.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, he's got a tumor in his head the size of a football.
Oh really? Does it come with its own personal trainer too? Stewie was then privileged to sit next to Miley Cyrus, feeling as if he were in a wonderful dream. His words made Miley smile, and oddly enough, they could communicate well with each other. As they got to know each other, Stewie found out she was writing a new song and offered her one he had recently written.
So do I.
Oh, you wrote a song? Look at you. You're a regular little Tim McGraw.
Oh sure, I look just like them, as if they were in a funhouse mirror. Miley praised the lyrics Stewie wrote and invited him to duet the song with her, which made Stewie very happy.
That we've got what it takes to be very best friends.
Miley is incredibly sweet, buying ice cream for Brian and Stewie and letting them hang out before heading off for an interview. However, when Stewie hands her his phone, they hear a strange noise coming from it.
Stewie, can you hand me my cell phone?
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
That was weird. Did you hear that when I was giving her the phone?
No.
It was like interference or something.
Curious, Stewie and Brian sneak into the dressing room, only to be shocked to discover that Miley is actually a robot. This explains why she was able to communicate so naturally with Stewie.
Oh my god! She's an android! Miley Cyrus is an android!
Brian said she was created by Disney, that they built perfect idol robots. Stewie agreed, saying she never fell, like Fencer Henry with a big hole in the middle of him.
Aha! Right through me! Prepare for returned fire, Sir Joseph Broadfront! I give you one last chance to rescind your insult of calling me a common dandy. Never?
The two watch in awe as Miley dances flawlessly, still unable to believe she's not human.
She dances like a real girl. She moves like a real girl.
Yeah?
Do you think she does other stuff like a real girl? You know, if you reprogrammed her?
Brian, that's 6. She's 16.
I'm 8.
Stewie, ever the inventor, figures out a way to access her circuits and tamper with her internal wiring. He shocks her, causing her to short circuit and go haywire.
Miley Smash!
Uh-oh. Hey, hang on. Maybe I can fix this. Run!
Panicking, Stewie runs for cover, while Miley, now out of control, rampages through the street.
Do you think you could make a little more time for your son?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's the hurry? Did you guys see a spider, or are you just running from your problems? Exactly. Trouble is looming. After settling the dispute between Peter and Chris, the monkey rushed in to try to stop Miley. However, he only made her angrier.
Miss Cyrus, I ask you to stop what you're doing. I don't just mean this, I mean everything. The show, the music, it's all just awful.
Peter calls Quagmire, who zooms in on a fighter jet to try and save the monkey. As Miley reaches the rooftop and prepares to toss the monkey off, Quagmire and Peter swoop in, firing on the rogue robot.
All right, Peter, we're closing in. Get ready to fire.
After taking a few hits, Miley releases the monkey, who narrowly avoids falling but manages to grab onto the building. Miley briefly fights back, but Quagmire's plane delivers the final blow, sending the robot plummeting to the ground, where she powers down. The monkey, unable to hold on any longer, falls, but is saved by Peter at the last second. As the
hands down the scariest clip I've seen in years. I really felt like I was falling with it, bro. I'm bad with heights.
chaos settles, Stewie and Brian survey the wreckage, and Stewie jokes that this is Brian's chance to see if the robot's throat works like a real girl's.
You know, Brian, here's your shot. Go for it. Oh, too late.
No, it's not.
Well, at least the dog's got something to hold on to now. Guess it's the only part of her that still works.
These are 10 episodes where Peter Griffin deserved to go to jail. Starting at number 10 with an episode titled April in Quahog. We open the episode with Trisha Takanawa interviewing, and I quote, the only white guy who knows math better than her, Stephen Hawking. They discuss a recently discovered black hole at the edge of the solar system before the scientist gives up his act, ditches the chair, and goes surfing. And we're off to the races. While the super important scientific discovery is being discussed, Peter comes home with an equally super important announcement.
I have been selected.
For what?
Oh, nothing too important, just jury duty.
That's not good.
Wow.
I don't like jury duty.
When the family tells him he's not special since anyone can be selected, shocking, he tries to get out of his duty by using the surf and bird tactic. This doesn't get him kicked out, which is actually shocking as it's the most infuriating running gag this show has, so he's forced to sit through the trial. He gets home and immediately starts complaining about his day, but a news report about the black hole's expansion interrupts him.
Which means that all life on Earth will be destroyed within 24 hours.
The news rocks the residents of Quahog, so much so that everyone rushes to act out their final wishes. Some wishes are more disturbing than others, and some are unsurprisingly wholesome. Lois wants nothing more than for her family to spend their last day together, but Peter has his priorities elsewhere. Going to the zoo with a shotgun and stealing a lion. I mean, I can't lie, the lion is pretty cool. The next activity of Peter's final wishes is using a musket to save a Native American family from cavalrymen. You know, the usual bucket list activities. After failing at that, he makes his last dying wish come true.
I'm gonna find the black neighborhood and see what happens if I yell the you-know-what word.
That is so inappropriate and offensive, and I think
they respected me for saying it.
Oh, that is not where I saw that one going. But the time finally comes for the final minutes of Earth's existence, and Peter is only just returning home. Lois tears into Peter for having spent all day away from his family, and when she asks him why he doesn't love her, he reveals the truth about why he disappeared for the day.
I just hate being around the kids.
It's a bad enough confession as it is, but it's only made worse when Tom and Diane announced that the whole report was an April Fool's prank. So this isn't awkward at all. Peter doesn't even try to backtrack. He just digs his grave even deeper by explaining why he doesn't enjoy being around the kids. Rightly so, they give him the cold shoulder the next morning when he tries to buddy up to them. Realizing that it's not going to be an easy job to win back their love, Peter brings out the big guns. He attempts to bond with Meg over her period. Just usual girl talk, I suppose? When that doesn't work, he goes to Chris with a story about his uncle, a bag of crystal meth, and an idea for a good time.
You sure that stuff is okay?
All I know is the guys who made it are dead.
Thankfully, Chris has his head screwed on straight and doesn't join his dad in that activity. But Peter is no closer to winning back his kids when he does the same thing in front of Stewie. He eventually caves and does what all parents do when they try to make up for a mistake, buys them a gift. But at the very least, he could have let them be the ones to play on the Xbox, given everything he put them through this episode.
Now which one do I press to shoot now? Damn it. Ah, crap.
Just go back to the kitchen, Peter. Number 9 on the list is Papa Has a Rollin' Son, an episode where Peter's daddy issues almost ruin everything for Joe. With Father's Day coming up, Peter and the guys discuss the fact that none of them have met Joe's dad yet in 14 seasons. But there's a good reason for that. Joe and his dad are estranged and haven't spoken for years. Without asking any more questions, Peter contacts Joe's dad and invites him into town for the holiday. It's a nice gesture, but a huge mistake.
Ever since I was a little kid, he was constantly making fun of handicapped people.
Even worse, Joe's dad doesn't even know his son's handicapped for this very reason. This is gonna be one hell of a family reunion. Since it's too late to cancel the visit, the guys try to find a way to hide Joe's disability. Their ideas are terrible, to say the least. Tying Joe to a wild horse doesn't work, so they settle on a simpler plan. Get Peter and Joe to switch places for his dad's visit.
I barely recognize you. Put on a little weight, haven't you?
Oh, he's one of those dads. Bud and Peter get on like a house on fire, bonding while on patrol together before coming home to see Joe's Peter struggling to get in the car. The insults from Bud were to be expected given what Joe told us about his dad, but what I didn't see coming was Peter joining in on the insults, even towards his own kids. Okay, that part I expected. Peter eventually makes his way over to his real home to tell everyone that their plan has worked. Only it's worked a little too well. Peter's offered to let Bud move in with him and Bonnie. Now, to give some context to his decision-making, Peter's got daddy issues. Granted, his daddy issues stem from having literally killed his own dad, but they're there nonetheless. He's going ahead with stealing Joe's dad. Everyone tells him how stupid his plan is, but that only leads Peter to twist the knife he stabbed into Joe's back even more.
You can't just take my dad!
Well, he's right next door. Nothing's stopping you from going over there and telling them the truth.
Peter's seen firsthand how horrible Joe's dad is towards handicapped people, so it's a low blow from the Griffin man. But it's full steam ahead for Peter as he makes the most of finally having a father figure in his life. He convinces Bud to go and play catch with them in the yard, like the grown man he is, but they're stopped by a struggling Joe trying to take out the trash. Bud tells Peter to go and tell Joe to go inside since watching is making him depressed, and Peter follows his request. Joe finally reaches boiling point when Peter refers to Bud as his own dad, multiple times, I may add, and ends up in a heated brawl with his friend. One's a cop and the other is an overweight man in a corset. I know who my money's on in this fight. When Bud calls out his son for getting beat up by a guy in a wheelchair, Joe finally comes clean that he's actually his son. Like Clark Kent in any Superman movie ever, Joe takes off his glasses and suddenly becomes recognizable to his dad. Surprise! Bud comes clean about being ableist out of fear of it happening to himself. Not a good enough excuse if you ask me. But the two have a heart-to-heart and agree to work on rebuilding their relationship. All it took was Joe's supposed best friend to steal his dad, hurl insults at him about his disability, and voila! Dad and son are back together.
I love you, son.
I love you too, Dad.
For God's sake, Peter, not now! Taking the number 8 spot on the list is an episode titled Family Gay, an episode that I'm going to spoil none of with a title that good. Peter is given the simple task of grocery shopping, something he fails at miserably given he returns home after 6 hours with no beans but instead a brain-damaged horse. From smashing itself into the wall to peeing on the carpet, he already makes a better pet than Brian. Too harsh on the dog? So the Griffins are stuck rooming with a horse that sucks heads. Stewie's head. Jeez, guys, get your heads out of the gutter. But anyway, since the horse has nothing going on upstairs, there's nothing he can do. Well, Peter does find one thing for it to do.
Some of the milk in the fridge is not milk, it's horse sperm.
I'm gonna give you a few seconds to really think hard about how Peter managed to get that milk from the horse, and there it is, it's just clicked. If that thought wasn't traumatic enough, Stewie makes it worse by consciously eating his cereal with the horse's special milk, knowing exactly what it is. If there was any remaining doubt about his sexuality, I think it's just been erased. So Peter tries to get a more mainstream use out of the horse by entering it in a race, but given it's brain damaged, it runs into the crowd and causes $100,000 worth of damages. Better yet, the horse suffered a fatal heart attack after the crash, leaving Peter with crushing debt and a dead horse. But he has a quick solution for that. I feel like I should contact PETA for this. To make money to repay the damages, Peter signs up to become a test subject for medical science and gets injected with a gay gene. And the results are hilarious. Hilarious to me, but not so much to Lois, who struggles to come to terms with now having a gay husband. But she starts coming to terms with his new sexuality when he begins displaying stereotypical behaviors.
I think I'm jealous if Miss eats anything she wants and still fits into a size 4. Oh, I could scratch your eyes out. Meow!
The compliments, shopping, and baked goods are great and all until Peter rejects her sexual advances. With no way to reverse the effects of the gay gene, Lois is left with a gay husband. Or she would have been had Peter not run off with his soulmate, Scott. Just a quick reminder, this is all happening in the same episode. Animal abuse, destroying Mort's pharmacy, leaving his wife. It's a 3-for-1. Seeing how depressed Lois is, Brian and Stewie try to fix the problem by kidnapping Peter and sending him to a straight camp that specializes in conversion therapy. We are all gonna have our opinions on this, but I think it's pretty safe to say there's not one character that comes out looking good in this episode. When Scott comes looking for Peter, Brian fesses up to what he did, and Lois decides to pull Peter out of the camp and let him live his life however he wants. Is this the first selfless thing I've seen Lois do? So Peter returns to his new homosexual life where Scott has organized a welcome home gift of an 11-way for him. I don't have a joke for that. In a case of the worst timing ever, the gay gene wears off in the middle of all the action.
Holy crap!
I guess you could say that Peter finished early.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that one either. Peter returns home and vows to never speak about the events again, but there's just enough time for one final moment of karma. American Gigalo is number 7 on the list as the episode gives us Quagmire in a role he was truly born for. After a long day of being on the picket line with his fellow pilots, Quagmire stops at a bar before heading home. He interrupts a bachelorette party where he's mistaken for the stripper, a fair misunderstanding given what he's wearing and the fact that he's Quagmire. He goes to correct them, but as the women make it rain, he sees no harm in giving in to the act. Fast forward to the guys' next night at the Clam, and Quagmire leaves early. That's worrying enough that Peter and the guys trail him all the way to the hangout and discover that Quagmire is working in a strip club.
I am in the full upright and locked position.
Quagmire's doing what he does best and looking good while he does it. Editor, don't Just, like, don't put a sus meme over that, okay? Don't make it weird. Damn it. Okay, moving on. Quagmire admits he's become less of an exotic dancer and more of a gigolo, getting paid crazy amounts for you-know-what. Later in the episode, Peter picks up Quagmire after he gets stiffed by a client who refuses to pay him. Not willing to let his friend be taken advantage of, he goes back in to annoy the woman into giving him the money she owes. Just remember that I said he doesn't want to let his friend be taken advantage of. It's going to come up later. Quagmire gives him a cut of the money for his help and asks Peter if he wants to join him on more of his jobs. He basically asks Peter to be his pimp. It's fun at first until Peter starts overbooking him, leaving Quagmire exhausted. Now this is where my whole hypocritical taking advantage of Quagmire point comes into play.
You tripping, boy? You're going out if I tell you you're going out, bitch!
Jesus, Peter, one Steve Harvey suit later and you're acting like this? Peter fully abuses the power he has in his new position, insulting, hitting, and overworking Quagmire. When Quagmire of all people starts complaining about sexual activities, then you know you've gone way too far. Peter even forces Quagmire to work for his food. It's a textbook abusive relationship. The absolute worst customer that Peter forces him to work for starts asking Quagmire to do weird German things. Am I meant to know what that is? Give me one quick second while I Google that. Oh my god, no! Don't Google it! Maybe I should have put this higher on the list. Thankfully, Peter steps in before any of those things can go ahead and scar Quagmire for life. They still suffer a little trauma though, but it's nowhere near as bad as the original ask. Peter does see the error in his ways and apologizes for getting caught up in the money aspect of it all. Since he's more forgiving than I would have ever been, Quagmire lets Peter off the hook and agrees to go back to being friends with the hopes of the pilot strike ending soon so he can get his job back.
Oh, the strike ended a month ago.
Peter! God, I feel like I'm telling off a kid. As expected, Quagmire yells at him for letting him spend a month as a gigolo and not telling him, but Peter assures him he did. The Griffin Man isn't lying, he did email Quagmire, just the wrong one.
Are you still GlennQ10@AOL.com?
No.
Ah, well, there you go.
Would telling him in person really have been that hard, Peter? Taking the number 6 spot is an episode I have to be extremely careful in how I pronounce. P-tarded. It's game night at the Griffin home, and Lois is set on letting her husband win their game of Trivial Pursuit by giving him the kids' questions. She clearly underestimates how dumb he is as he struggles through those questions, but he eventually wins after Lois asks him to say the word what. Yes, that was the actual game-winning question. Peter is insufferable after his win, boasting and bragging at all opportunities. Sick of hearing it, Brian challenges him to apply for the MacArthur Genius Grant where he could be rewarded for his so-called intelligence. So he takes the test needed to apply and gets his results back. They aren't what he wanted, but they're what we all expected.
According to this, you're not a genius. In fact, you're mentally retarded.
Peter doesn't take the news well at first, what with being treated like a kid now more than ever, but he finds an upside when he almost kills Tom Tucker, losing focus on the road. The news anchor is ready to lay into him until he realizes that it's Peter, the mentally incapacitated guy who ran him over. Talk about a get-out-of-jail-free card. Peter starts abusing his newfound power and gets away with everything from starting Bible fights to busting into women's toilet stalls. But arguably the worst of all is what he does to Lois as he tries to steal a deep fryer from the fast food restaurant. Not only does his actions leave Lois with severe burns, but they also lead to Child Protective Services taking the kids away since he's not mentally fit enough to be a parent. Luckily for him, Cleveland offers to take in the kids while he works out what to do, but he doesn't exactly get off to a promising start.
Oh god, hang on.
This is the man who has to win custody of 3 kids. Sure, he's got this. Brian, being the only sane one left in the Griffin family, tells Peter that he just has to show CPS that he's a good parent, but Peter takes this to mean that he has to show how bad of a parent Cleveland is. Struggling to see the logic of that one. Yeah. So to do this, he invites a group of prostitutes into Cleveland's home, while Stewie is with him, and calls the CPS agent to investigate the situation. Like a reasonable adult, Agent Jessup sees through the ruse and continues to take Peter to trial. His case is pretty strong, given that Peter gave him plenty of examples of his bad parenting, but Peter's is even stronger. Introducing the ghost who never lies.
Well, would you kindly point him or them out for this court? Don't point at me, you jackass!
Wow. Just wow, Peter. I have nothing to say to that. After incriminating himself in the funniest way possible, Peter makes a heartfelt plea to the judge and narrowly escapes prison time, but he still doesn't get his kids back. But hey, it's all okay because Lois fully heals and brings home the kids, as well as the smell of grease.
Oh Oh, I love you so much, delicious French fry wife.
So, no consequences for Peter for nearly killing Tom Tucker, his wife, invading women's bathrooms, framing his best friend, or, just anything he did in this episode? Nah, why would there be? Halfway marker now, and The Tan Aquatic with Steve Zizzo is the episode at the number 5 spot. Look, before I get into Peter's part in this episode, I have to talk about the main plot, which is Stewie becoming addicted to tanning after getting a sunburn while out with Peter. That's basically the whole plot, but it's too good not to include. Anyway, here's a clip of Stewie after Brian falls asleep and leaves him in a tanning bed for too long.
I've been in there for 6.5 hours, you son of a bitch! Don't touch me!
Okay, now on to the man of the 30 minutes that this video lasts. Herbert has a new paperboy and he's somewhat of a bully. He calls Chris a nerd, Herbert old, and rides off with having stolen all of Chris's customers. Chris tries his hardest to win back Herbert's love, but Kyle is already there with more insults and a beatdown. After seeing Chris come home with blood running out of his nose, Peter tells Kyle's parents what their son did and goes to talk to the bully. Like father, like son, Peter ends up the victim of Kyle's teasing and overall crappy attitude and retaliates by beating the hell out of him. Peter Griffin takes no prisoners, even when they're 13-year-old boys, apparently. Peter leaves Kyle bruised and bleeding and runs home where he tries to play the entire situation off, but when Lois gets a call from Kyle's parents telling her what he did, he hides in a tree.
He called me names!
You're 43 and you just assaulted our neighbor's child.
As she often has to do, Lois acts as Peter's parent and drags him around to apologize to Kyle, whose mom agreed to not press charges if he did so. Kyle and Peter patch things up by bonding over Legos, as well as having a deep conversation about what makes bullying so fun. Kyle's words encourage Peter to continue bullying people to feel good about himself. Not sure why we're taking advice from someone who beat up your own kid, but you do you, Peter. So Peter starts to bully and at times abuse Lois, Stewie, Meg, and worst of all, Joe, who he ties up and uses like a puppet, not degrading in the slightest. Seeing how Peter has been acting, Lois tells her husband that he's no better than his own childhood bully, Randy Fulcher. This snaps Peter out of his act and convinces him to no longer bully the people he cares about.
I should be bullying Randy Fulcher.
No, you were so close to getting it, Peter. So Peter brings Chris along to teach him how to stand up to bullies by standing up to his own. Coming face to face with Randy Fulcher, Peter sees that he's getting around with crutches. Not that that stops him from threatening him. Randy tells him that he can't fight because he has MS.
You hear that, Chris? This guy's got a monkey scrotum and he's bragging about it.
I'm not saying anything. Peter goes in for the hit, but Chris stops him and teaches Peter a lesson that violence isn't always the answer. By beating him up. Punching teenagers, abusing your family, bullying disabled people. What didn't this episode have? Going into the number 4 spot with an episode titled A Shot in the Dark. Peter and the guys start up a community watch when they realize their neighborhood isn't as safe as they thought after the couch they left in the garden gets stolen. Because this is America, Peter manages to get them guns within 10 seconds. So not only are they not trained, but now they're armed too. What could possibly go wrong? While on his first night watch, Peter sees a shadowed figure trying to get into Cleveland's house. He asks him to step away multiple times, but when the figure doesn't, he fires a shot.
Cleveland Jr.? Mr. Griffin, you shot me!
Oh, this is a touchy subject. Peter goes to the hospital to apologize to the Brown family. That's their surname, stop it. But tensions only rise when Joe explains that the police force has deemed the shooting an accident. This is sounding a little too close to the truth to be funny. Outraged by the decision, Cleveland goes on to TV to call Peter's actions a hate crime, making him and the family the most hated people in Quahog. He makes attempts to prove that he's not a racist by playing basketball at the YMCA, painting himself brown to prove he's in touch with African American culture, and worst of all, sharing a drink and cigar with Cleveland that ends up causing a house fire thanks to Peter's clumsiness.
Get your family out of that house! If they don't leave, they'll die!
So, without the context, you have to admit this doesn't exactly look good. Given all the events that have transpired, Joe places Peter under arrest for attempted murder when public outrage forces his hand. Carter offers to help bail Peter out of jail, but Cleveland Jr.'s testimony makes it a hard case to fight. Carter's lawyer tears down Cleveland Jr. for listening to Jay-Z, which apparently makes him a thug. He even goes as far as comparing him to Chris Brown because they share the same last name, and implies that the young boy would beat up Rihanna just like the rapper did. If I said this was a fair trial, I'd be lying to you all. Peter walks away free and Cleveland calls an end to their friendship. Probably fair, considering Cleveland and his family are now the most hated people in Quahog. Seeing the hatred that people are throwing at Cleveland Jr. appeals to the good in Peter, who goes to make things right by admitting he did shoot his best friend's son.
I just got scared and I did something stupid. I swear, it had nothing to do with the color of his skin.
Hearing how sincere Peter is, Cleveland realizes he really did shoot him by accident. So he steps forward and takes the blame for Peter to keep his friend from getting arrested. He lies and says he was the one who shot his own son, which should be the most shocking revelation of all time, but instead all of the news channels leave the scene.
You want to make the media go away? Just mention black-on-black crime.
There it is. That's your headline. The two friends make amends while taking a slow, hands clasped behind the back walk to discuss racism and the consequences of Peter's actions. His dad may have forgiven Peter, but Cleveland Jr. hasn't, as he tells Peter to watch his back.
I'm just kidding. Or am I? You're gonna wonder about that, you fat bitch.
Sleep with one eye open, Peter. Number 3 has us moving on to a truly bizarre expansion of Peter and Chris's father-son relationship in an episode titled Fresh Air. The episode starts with Chris trying to spend time with Peter, who makes it very clear where his interests lie.
Are you a television set or the internet?
No.
Oh, then no. No, thank you.
Chris makes multiple attempts to bond with his father, while Peter straight up lies to Chris about hanging out to avoid him, like agreeing to a fishing trip only to say,
Chris, I was just lying to you so you'd go away.
Ignoring his loved ones is and has always been Peter Griffin's MO, as cutaways show him also neglecting Lois's new haircut, then berating a neglected hairless twin he keeps in the shed. He's a beacon of family values, this one. Well, if Peter doesn't want to spend time with Chris, maybe his wealthy grandfather, Carter Pewterschmidt, will be more receptive. So a bedridden Carter spends his time bonding with his grandson over things like tracking racing pizza delivery drivers, creating their own garage band, and even learning a thing or two from Chris about certain pleasurable activities that I can't say or YouTube will ban me.
Let me show you something.
That was amazing.
Amazing and quick, apparently. Carter eventually heals up and tries to offer Chris some money for his troubles, but he turns the offer down. This impresses Carter so much that he names Chris the sole heir to his fortune, and if you think Peter is going to take this news well, then congrats on watching your first Family Guy episode. You've got a lot to learn. Wanting to get an in on that sweet Pewterschmidt money, Peter tries to suck up to Chris by dressing as him, watching a movie, and beheading Chris's school bully. Only that's not actually the bully, it's the deaf kid at school.
Oh, that was sign language. I thought he was trying to defend himself with terrible karate.
Whoops. When all that fails, Peter gets the bright idea to take their relationship to the next level. He proposes to Chris, stating that a man can marry any other man in Vermont. A quick Google search shows this isn't actually the case, but hey, who am I to find logic in a show where Meg takes baths with her brother and green whales beg for guns and books? Chris sees through Peter's intentions, but agrees anyway in order to finally get that happy, legally binding relationship he's always wanted with his father. One questionable divorce from Lois later, and these soon-to-be newlyweds head off to Vermont. The wedding almost goes off without a hitch, but Lois and the rest of the family come to break it up. Even when faced with the sheer idiocracy of the idea, Peter remains firm in his decisions. Peter finally realizes the error of his ways when Chris admits to having known his dad's intentions before agreeing to marry him, just so that he can spend some time with him.
And I guess I learned it's wrong to take your son to Vermont under false pretenses to try to marry him for his inheritance.
This episode is a clear example of Peter's selfishness and disregard for the happiness of his family. At least Peter isn't a real person like Woody Allen, who actually did marry his child. Have fun Googling that. Lottery Fever is taking the number 2 spot, with Peter's greed and stupidity almost pushing this to take the title. 20 seconds into the episode, not even past the intro music, and Peter's already messed up. One of the dancers is pregnant, and wouldn't you know it, it's Peter's. Does he do the right thing? Well, if he did, it wouldn't be on this list. He lies about her stealing from the show and has her removed before continuing on like nothing happened. So we get into the episode and Peter asks Lois for a loan for his latest dream, to open a sushi restaurant purely so he can yell at customers as they walk through the door. Not that she would have given him the money for that anyway, Lois tells her they can't afford it as they're low on cash and need to watch their budget. As this is going on, Tom Tucker is revealing that the latest state lottery jackpot sits at $150 million. Give me jackpot noises, give me dollar signs, make it rain! They may be on a budget, but Peter goes ahead and buys thousands of lottery tickets. Mind you, he had to take out a second mortgage on the house to do this. When Peter reveals the real lottery tickets, since he bought thousands as a test, Brian pulls one out that has all the winning numbers on it.
Yes, we won the lottery! I'm getting a piss butler.
That's what I would have gotten. Just kidding. Okay, whatever. I would have gotten one. Everyone starts listing off things they want with their newfound wealth, but Lois tries to rein them in and make sure the money doesn't get to their heads. It's too late for Peter, though, who's already bought a room full of gold coins to dive into like Scrooge McDuck, quit his job, and started buying rounds for everyone in the clam. But he does do some good with his money, too. He helps Quagmire out with a loan for an investment, and he gives Joe some money to buy Bonnie a nice gift. It's a short act of kindness, though, as the guys try to leave early, and he guilts them into staying since he gave them money. Oh, yep, I see where this is going. As is becoming a running theme in this video, Peter starts to take advantage of his friends. He forces them to pre-watch shows for him to get him to the good parts and eat the worst parts of his food. But the worst of all is when he forces them to do a synchronized dance for him while he shoots them with a BB gun.
Hey, Joe, open your eye. Gotcha.
You know, Peter, most people who win money just want a new car or house, not free reign to shoot their friends in the eyes. As they should, Quagmire and Joe walk away from Peter and his money, but not before Peter can get a shot in on Quagmire too. When Peter comes home with a golden tuxedo, Lois calls the family out for losing touch with reality, but she caves as soon as Peter gives her a diamond ring. That's why they're made for each other. While they're out for dinner, the family finds out that they've already blown through all their winnings. Back to being broke within a month, Peter walks into the clam with his tail between his legs and an apology to his friends. It's not a quick forgive and forget, as Joe tells Peter he now has a glass eye because they couldn't fix the one Peter shot. But as per usual, everyone lets Peter off the hook, with Quagmire even offering him money to get back on his feet. Just once, I'd like to see some real consequences to this guy's actions.
Plus, we learned something, and you can't put a price on that.
Look, Lois, we all know what happened. We're all depressed.
Yeah, so maybe money doesn't solve all your problems, but it sure is nice to have. And here we are, the #1 spot, which of course had to go to Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Peter's part in this episode isn't even the main plot, but it's so unbelievably bad that it's winning this list anyway. After being rammed in the head with a toy spaceship one too many times, Peter tricks Stewie into following Rupert into the basement and locking him in there. Peter Griffin, a Parenting 101 course. While he's in the basement, Stewie discovers an old script of Brian's that's worth revising. This eventually leads to Brian getting a TV pilot with the script, but I'm not going into that. This video is about Peter, and one thing to know about me, if I don't have to talk about Brian, I'm not going to. Meanwhile, Chris is sneaking into Meg's room to read her diary. She catches him and the two end up in a fight, accidentally knocking Stewie down the stairs as a result. As a 1-year-old, that kind of fall could be fatal. Meg and Chris panic about their little brother when he passes out, but since neither of them wants to get into trouble, they put him in bed and try to cover up his injury. It's a head injury. Go to the hospital. By dinner time, Stewie is still unconscious, so Meg and Chris get inventive in how they cover up his injuries.
Boy, he must be starving.
As the episode goes on, Stewie remains unconscious, with the head wound getting grosser by the minute. Honestly, be grateful that YouTube makes me censor this wound. It is nasty. Meg and Chris try to clean out Stewie's wound, but get interrupted by Peter. What's worse than the open wound itself is the fact that Peter so casually asks how long Stewie's been knocked out. Even worse, he praises Chris for not letting Meg take Stewie to the hospital. Praises him! Since he's apparently knocked Meg and Chris out multiple times when they were babies, Peter gives Meg a list of hats to get to cover the wound up. As they all settle down to watch Brian's TV pilot, Peter brings Stewie down in an even less believable disguise. And yet, it works. Even after watching Stewie fall face first to the ground and Chris knocking the baby's head on each step, no one seems to notice anything out of the ordinary. What in the Sandra Bullock Bird Box crap is this? Since they haven't treated the head wound, they take off the bandages to see that. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't look at that. Oh God, why can't this be censored for me too? Okay, moving on. Peter is now smelling brain smell, as he calls it, which pushes Meg to the breaking point as she advocates to get her brother to the hospital. But Peter has one last plan.
Oh my God! Stewie!
No need to replay it, you really have just seen Peter throw his 1-year-old baby under a car. As though hiding a severe head injury wasn't bad enough, you really had to brutally throw him under a moving car also that you don't get blamed for anything. It's like a constant battle between Lois and Peter for the Parent of the Year award. He rushes over, showing nothing but concern, which only grows when Lois says that they should buy Stewie a hat and cover up what she's done. What is wrong with this family?
In Call Girl, our boy Peter catches a freaking falcon.
Has anyone seen your father?
I am here. I want you to meet my falcon, Xerxes.
Peter, that falcon looks pretty dangerous.
I am a falconer, and I will eat whatever Xerxes brings me. For Xerxes, every meal is a pageant. You're gonna love the park, Xerxes.
What's a pageant?
I think you know what I want. This is awesome!
In typical Family Guy fashion, the episode very quickly shifts from the Falcon plot point to something entirely different. Peter gets Xerxes to steal that motorcycle, and Peter eventually gets sued for this. The Griffins are completely broke now, all because Peter needed to commit Grand Theft Auto with a bird. It's funny as so no complaints here, but I feel sorry for Lois. With no other choice, Lois picks up a new job at a call center. At first, Lois loves it. She isn't necessarily stoked about thoughting it up over the phone, but that is a lot of money. You can't really blame the girl. Things are going great until she eventually gets a call from a certain fat ass.
Peter, I've had a long day at work, and right now, sex is the last thing I want to think about.
So you never want to do it no more. I mean it, you guys. Just no sex thing doesn't work. I need some kind of outlet.
You know, Peter, I got just the thing for you. There's this new phone sex chick I've been calling, and she is amazing.
It's like they say, phoning ain't boning.
Hello there, handsome. I'm classy.
No, Peter, don't do it. It's a trap. This man is going to be sleeping on the couch for weeks after this shit.
I'm, Peter.
Oh, my God. Well, hello, Peter. What can I do for you?
You want to see some pictures that I drew?
Sure.
This is me on an elephant.
Wow, that's beautiful. Did you draw that all by yourself?
Uh-huh. There's something about you, Classy. I like your voice. It makes me want to hear more of your voice.
Back at home the next day, and Peter lies straight to Lois's face, and digs his grave even deeper when he calls Classy again that night. This time, though, he really messes up.
I've had such a good time talking to you these past few times that I was thinking maybe we could meet.
I mean, cheating on your wife is a very serious thing.
You don't understand. I have to meet you. I feel a special connection with you.
Okay, I'll meet you.
Yay, I did it! Thanks, Fairy God Peter! The power was within you all along.
Later at the bar, Quagmire and Joe try to talk the dumbass out of it, while at the same time Lois gets advice from Bonnie. In the end, they meet up, and Peter is 100% prepared to cheat on Lois. He even gets dressed up, and I can't lie, my boy is fresh. That all-white suit, the little perm, Lois better calm down.
Why are you dressed like that? What did you do to your hair?
Business trip, Lois. Going to Chicago City.
I see.
All right, I gotta say goodbye to the kids. Hey, champ, I want you to have this pocket watch. It still works, even though it's got a lot of Civil War brains all over it. I want you to have this sad-sounding fart. People are gonna tell you that you're stupid and that you're no good.
That son of a bitch.
Not gonna lie, Lois looks bad as with blonde hair. Can't really blame Peter. Actually, just kidding. My girl would kill me for saying that.
Hello.
You're beautiful.
Let's go.
Why am I doing this? I got the greatest wife in the world. Doesn't make any sense, but it felt like some force in the universe wanted us to get it.
I guess I could understand that.
I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I was fantastic.
Oh, you dirty, rotten cheater!
Lois!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yeah, Peter, you really fucked up, bro. In the end, they make up, and Lois lets Peter beat it up again. But can she really be mad? This is the same woman who banged Bill Clinton. Next up is Bill and Peter's bogus journey. In this episode, Bill Clinton and Peter become besties. However, Bill is a terrible influence. At one point, convincing Peter to steal a pig from a farm just so they could eat it. So Lois goes over to give Clinton a piece of her mind, and instead, she ends up getting a piece of Clinton.
Mr. President, I need to have a word with you. Well, you certainly are very persuasive.
So I've been told. Hey, you up for a little NAFTA?
What's that?
Another afternoon fucking that ass.
Hey, Bill, you up for a little bowling? I swiped some money out of Lois's purse. I don't think she'll notice because she's here humping you!
Peter!
I learned something today.
If I remember correctly, though, doesn't Peter do the same thing at the end of the episode?
Our marriage has suffered a serious trial, but I think we can get through it.
In the meantime, I guess I better clear the air with Clinton. You and I need to have a talk. Boy, you are good. You are really good.
I know it's another dude, but it's still technically cheating, right? It's funny because earlier in the episode, to get revenge for Lois cheating, Peter tries to bang Lois's mother.
Well, Lois, this is an unexpected surprise.
We were in the neighborhood and Peter said, let's stop in. Peter and I have hit a snag in our marriage. I won't go into details. It turns out that the only way to make things right seems to be, would you have sex with Peter?
Of course, dear. I'm physically starved. Your father's utterly lost interest. He won't even look me in the back of the head anymore.
Peter, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah, I'll see you at home.
To be fair, he doesn't end up doing it and chooses to just forgive Lois. But that with Clinton, I don't think Lois even knows it happened. They're definitely even though. And Meg goes to college, Peter wants to live out his golden years with Lois. So they fake an application ensuring that our favorite little sister Meg is 100% approved. Of course though, this comes with a catch. Literally.
Hey Meg? Hi, I'm Xander. I'm in your bio class. I'm not a stalker. Listen, me and my roommates are having people over tonight. I was wondering if you'd want to come by.
I'd love to.
Heads up!
Ah! What the hell are you doing?
I'm going to college now.
What about Mom?
Had to have a tough conversation with her by the lake. I'm just not a fan of long-distance relationships.
Peter, I need to know if you're gonna pick Stewie up from school.
I'll be home for Thanksgiving. We'll see where we're at then.
From here, we see Peter in every college scenario you can imagine. He joins Alpha Delta Pi, a sorority house. He becomes a hippie. He eventually even becomes a frat boy. Well, kind of.
Heads up!
Ow! What the hell? Did you join a frat?
I tried to, but I got the letters mixed up and joined a frat. Hey, ladies, toga party tonight at I Delta PU. Tell your friends.
Ew, no.
Let's rewind back to that hippie thing though, because Peter reveals that he's been up to some nasty business while away from Lois.
Hey, Meg, I'm a hippie now, and I'm feeling the burn. None of my hippie girlfriends shower and my crotch itches. Hey, would you sign this petition to help save the spotted owl?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
What happens now?
Buck, wait! They got 50 signatures.
Well, let's get back in the truck.
You don't have to be afraid anymore. I'm still itchy.
Dad, I'm holding the ladder.
Poor Lois, dude. An itchy crotch sounds like a fucking nightmare. Also, someone arrest this man? Like, what the f? Peter is a grown-ass man, sleeping around at a college. Joe needs to get his handicapped ass over here ASAP. Our next episode, Single White Dad, kicks off with Peter literally injuring his wife. And how? This man decides to build a real-life-size game of Donkey Kong. I mean, don't get it twisted. This does look epic. And I love Donkey Kong, especially DK64. But damn.
Sorry I put you in a dress, Stewie. We needed a damsel.
Hey, do I look upset? What do we got today?
Looks like a Donkey Kong house.
Want a beer?
Yes, sir. Is that a Yeti?
It is.
Barrel! Barrel! Barrel!
What is all this noise? Ah, my foot! Oh, I think it's broken. The doctor said I'm gonna be laid up for a week, so you'll have to take care of the kids. Are you excited?
No, and you know that.
Taking care of kids is not that hard.
The Facebook status of every girl I went to high school with would disagree.
Little does Peter know, he's completely screwed himself over. Because Lois is out of action, he has to take care of everything. He has to bring Meg and Chris to school, feed them, and the hardest, he has to take care of an evil infant baby. Peter gets used to it though, especially when people start assuming that he's a single parent.
I don't know what I'm supposed to bring in.
You're doing a great job, Dad.
So cute. Hashtag dance like a dad.
Wow, everybody's being so nice.
It looks like you've got your hands full today. What can I get you?
Can you stuff a blueberry muffin into a cup and pour coffee all over it?
Normally, no, but I can't say no to a super dad like you. Where's this little guy's mom? Is she coming in too?
No, she's not with us.
Oh my, she's dead? I'm so sorry. We make a great homemade banana cream pie. It's on the house.
Yeah, my wife is dead. I'll have that pie. I'll never forget her last words. Get free extra whipped cream on your frappuccino.
Really, Peter? She's dead? Well, this situation gets a lot worse when Peter meets another single parent.
Oh, buddy, this smells like a big one.
A dad's changing a diaper. Hi.
Introducing Becky, a random girl that Peter just met at the park and eventually starts dating, despite him having an entire wife at home. Let's not forget that she's literally injured because of Peter, but we'll get there. For now, they're just gonna let their kids have a play date.
Those two seem to be getting along well.
So how long have you had a pet cloud?
That's a skylight. Do you want a beer? I can make some snacks. Maybe pull out the popcorn machine for the kids.
Or we don't tell them, and we keep all the popcorn for ourselves.
I'm glad we did this. How long have you been doing it alone?
Feels like forever.
Yeah, doesn't get any easier. I thought that after my late husband, Scott...
Can I show Stewie my room?
Sure.
Yes!
We could make this a regular thing.
Yeah, I'd like that a lot. Oh no, your pet cloud got out!
That's a window.
So it'll come back?
Peter is bugging in this episode, dude. To be fair, Lois has cheated on Peter countless times, but this is definitely not going to end well.
These last few days have been really fun for me and TJ. It's rare that you can relate to someone on a deeper level like we can.
I know this is crazy, and I don't use this word lightly, but I love the way you cut sandwiches. You're amazing.
You're amazing, too. So, should we go back to my place?
Yes.
Keep the play date going?
Yes.
Maybe take out the popcorn machine? Let me touch all the buttons?
You can pour in the kernels.
You think I'm ready?
No, but I'll make sure you don't spill.
What a dumbass. How the f do you find yourself in a situation like this? I will give Peter some credit. He does try to break it off, but this is where it really hits the fan.
Becky, please accept this gift of Forrest Gump waving on a boat as goodbye.
Surprise!
What are you doing here?
I wanted to come over and make you dinner. It's probably been a while since you've had a nice home-cooked meal.
Hey, Mom too is here.
I'll be right back.
I heard the doorbell. Who was it?
Delivery guy. We ordered dinner.
Well, maybe I'll just come downstairs and join you anyway.
You don't want to go downstairs. Brian is talking about the Electoral College.
I'll just eat dinner up here.
Peter runs downstairs to receive a random delivery of penis pills, and from here, all hell breaks loose.
Where's Mom?
The big upstairs. That's what we call heaven.
Mom's calling.
That's their mom saying hello. Pardonnez-moi. Hello!
can you help me down the stairs? I just need to get out of this room.
If you stay up here for the rest of the night, I will use the marital tongue on you.
But this time I get to pick the spot. In the meantime, can you just get me the heating pad for my back? It's in the attic.
Dude, the ending of the episode is so f***ing good. Peter running back and forth like a madman, just to manipulate his wife. It's wild, and it just gets messier from here. While Peter goes through hell, retrieving the heating pad, Lois comes downstairs anyways.
Heating pad!
Where did you go? And why was your box of boner and butt pills on the stairs? I almost tripped.
There you are, Peter. Are you okay? Is this your mother?
I'm sorry, who the hell are you and why are you holding my baby?
Boy, this is gonna be a really funny story when I tell you both separately far away from each other.
Yeah, Peter, you're absolutely cooked, my dude.
Mom?
Peter said you were dead.
I am not dead. I was just recovering from foot surgery. Now, what the hell happened?
I cannot believe this, Peter. I thought we had something. And what kind of a mother leaves their husband with the kids for a week? It is a miracle they're alive.
I'll tell you what kind of mother. The best mom there is. All I wanted was free popcorn. Anyway, if I've learned anything this week, it's that all mothers are heroes.
Oh, Peter, that almost cancels out everything you've done. You're a beautiful woman. You can do better than a 44-year-old morbidly obese guy.
You're right.
No, she can't.
Ever since I lost my late husband, Scott,
Technically, he didn't intentionally cheat on Lois, but come on, you know you'd be filing for divorce after this. Next up is Lottery Fever. We've covered this episode in the past, but pretty much, Peter becomes filthy rich. However, he acts like a complete douchebag. If we rewind to this episode's opening though, our boy Peter gets exposed.
Hold it. What's going on here?
I'm pregnant.
You're what?
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a thing here.
Well, you didn't return any of my texts.
So what's going on? You want like a ride to the place?
What's going on?
What's going on, Lois, is that this girl is obviously not well. She should probably be escorted out of the building.
I had this situation happen.
Nah. Family Guy!
Yeah, Peter definitely has some explaining to do after this one. One popular theory is that Family Guy is a show within a show. This is somewhat proven in our next episode, Inside Family Guy, where we get a behind-the-scenes look at the show from the perspective of the actors. So Peter banging the dancer might just be Peter the actor cheating, and not Peter Griffin the character cheating. Regardless though, even if this theory is true, Peter the actor and Lois the actor are still married, even outside of their role on the show, right? So he still cheated. Anyways, as I mentioned, next up is Inside Family Guy, and Peter is up to some trouble in this one. Right off the bat, Lois reveals some interesting information about her husband that could potentially get him locked up.
Is it your line?
No, I don't think so.
Cut! That was Peter's line. Where's Peter?
Sorry, I was in my trailer eating fancy nuts and smoking.
All right, everybody, take 5.
Okay, I'll be in my dressing room playing online poker.
Well, it's certainly not easy being a family that also happens to star in a sitcom together. Especially last year when I discovered those naked pictures of that 18-year-old intern on Peter's phone. And it's happened 5 times since then, and some of the pictures had both Peter and the girl in them.
I don't know who's worse, Peter Griffin the character or Peter the actor, cause holy... In Big Man on Hippocampus, the Griffins take a shot at fame when they audition for Family Feud and actually make it on the show. At first, everything's looking promising as they breeze through the questions, but as Family Guy luck would have it, they choke in the bonus round, and things take a turn for the worse. Peter, ever the sore loser, gets into a spat with host Richard Dawson, but when Dawson shoves Peter, it leads to a moment no one expected.
We lose?
I'm afraid so, but we enjoyed having you here.
What about my cave in the yard?
Get your hands off me. I served in the fictitious military.
Oh my God, are you all right?
What happened? Who are you?
I'm Lois.
Lois who? Who the hell am I?
Uh-oh.
Back at home, Lois tries everything to jog Peter's memory. We're talking driving lessons, showing him how to use the phone, and eventually, how to use that glizzy.
Oh boy, get nude. Please get nude.
Peter, you don't have to spy on me. You're my husband.
Oh boy, no fooling? Oh boy! Something's happening in my pants. In the front this time.
It just means you're excited. It means you want to make love.
I forget how to make love.
Shh. I'll show you.
But here's where things get wild. Peter, now enjoying his new life, decides that this sex thing is pretty great. So great, in fact, that he should spread the love, literally. And who's his first lucky partner?
There you are. I've been waiting. You ready to have sex?
You bet. Move over so Tiffany and I have room.
What?
She's the woman I'm gonna have sex with tonight.
And don't worry about getting me pregnant.
I'm already pregnant.
You can't just have sex with some random woman. We're married.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember marrying anybody.
It means being responsible and faithful.
Well, that doesn't sound very fun.
Then we no longer have a family.
But this is my house, and I'm not going anywhere.
I'm leaving.
Come on, Peter. The man really has no shame. Poor Lois is heartbroken, and it's not long before she takes the kids and moves into a rundown apartment. But does Peter care? Nah, bro. The guy is too busy throwing a rager at the house, making out with random chicks, and living his best memoryless life.
Peter, what the hell is all this?
I'm a bachelor, so I invited a bunch of people over, and now I'm waiting for them to leave.
Peter, you left your family for this?
This is the way man was meant to live. I just know it. Check it out.
Leave it to Quagmire to see this as an opportunity. He swoops in and invites Lois to dinner, setting up the perfect moment for his own move. Meanwhile, Brian realizes that this is going way too far and rushes to find Peter, who just so happens to regain his memory during a fight with Ernie the Giant Chicken, because, of course, that's how it goes in Family Guy.
Hi, Peter. Hey, you just snubbed me in front of my own house. I thought we'd come to an understanding.
Look, fella, I don't know who you are, and I don't want to. Oh, man, I just got my memory back. I don't really care for you. Wait a minute, who are you? Hey, I know you. I was just lucky he had an odd number of objects.
Why the hell didn't you tell anybody?
Well, I figured I could enjoy the bachelor life for a few more days before getting Lois back.
In the end, Quagmire tries his best. This dude is desperate for Lois's coochie, but despite the cheating, Lois and Peter fix their relationship, and goes back to normal. I'm totally reaching a little bit with this next one. In Peter Assman, Peter's boss Angela becomes obsessed with getting into his pants. For 90% of the episode, Peter is totally a victim, but closer to the end of the episode is where he's moving pretty weird, especially for a married man.
Griffin, did you call the distributor about the...
What? What's the problem?
There's something different about you. You're not wearing glasses.
And I got busted. I'm wearing contacts.
I can see your eyes. They're beautiful.
What gives?
That better not be for women to see when they like me. No,
Griffin, I
no
never
lie, no
noticed
dog.
you before.
Okay.
Oh, no. I dropped my pencil.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
I've had women do
Yeah,
this. I've had
this
women
is
do
going to
this.
work out just fine. Excuse me.
Serious question. Would you hit that? Think of the raise? Think of the paid vacations. I'd do it.
Oh, you horny.
The issue for Peter, though, is not only is he disgusted by Angela, I mean, girl literally her pants in front of him, but he's also married. Well, Angela doesn't give a and neither does Lois.
Family, we need to talk. Your father was sexually harassed at work today. Angela grabbed my ass.
So what? A woman can't sexually harass a man. It's not harassment if you like it.
But I didn't like it.
I got sexually harassed at school. Mr. Taylor rubbed my shoulders for 35 minutes in class the one day I didn't wear a bra.
That's harassment. He could have taken advantage of her, forced her to do things to him.
He did. Awful things.
But you, it just can't happen.
Angela's obsession only gets more unhinged from here. It's pretty f***ing funny, though. She makes Peter dress up in these tiny-ass shorts while at work, just for her own amusement, and eventually starts calling him at home. I still think Peter should just do it. Think of all the freaky she'd do. Plus that fart from earlier? Damn.
No, what do you mean? The fart's not
I
attractive.
really hope there's a hungry
not
horse
sexy.
back there.
Oh, hi, Angela. Peter, it's your boss.
She's gonna harass me.
I'm sorry, Angela. Peter can't talk. He's upstairs in the shower touching himself to your picture.
Give me that.
I want to hear you breathe. Don't talk. Just breathe. It turns me on. That's it, Griffin. Keep breathing. I'm almost there.
Now, I already know. Some of you are asking, how the f is this Peter cheating? Well, at the end of the episode, Angela literally tries to off herself just because Peter won't sleep with her. And instead of quitting his job or signing the girl into the psych ward, he actually goes along with it. Technically, Mort does it, but Peter is definitely pushing his luck in this next scene.
Well, hello.
I'm not gonna tell this story.
Are you serving fish this evening?
No, sir.
Then I believe my guest has arrived. You must be Angela.
Hi, are you Peter's friend, Reginald?
Indeed I am. What a beautiful shade of lipstick on those teeth.
Oh, thank you, but that's just my gums bleeding from aggressive gingivitis. Well, I'm just gonna go to the powder room and freshen up.
She's eating it up. What a wonderful dinner.
Would you like some dessert?
Did you bake a pie?
Well, there is a pie. It's been baking since I met you.
Gross.
What?
Nothing. Good night, my dear.
Reginald, I want you to make love to me. You don't want to be with me. You're just like everybody else. So go then. I'm just going to stay here and kill myself. Oh, that was fantastic. fantastic. I feel better than
Yeah,
I've
go ahead
felt
and give her
in
one.
years. I'm ready to go back out there
Yep.
and meet someone. Oh, just one more thing before you go.
What's that, my dear?
See you at work on Monday, Griffin.
Huh? Everything worked out perfect.
Not really, Peter.
Yeah, you cheated on your wife.
No, I didn't. I used Mort. Oh my God, I forgot about Mort.
I want my $2.
You absolutely would not be cool with your significant other tag teaming another person with or without Mort. It does sound kind of fun though. In Take My Wife, we're introduced to Kimmy, a random girl that Quagmire begins dating just so he can be included in the Griffin's big counseling vacation. This man literally starts an entire relationship with this girl just so he doesn't feel left out. Now that is commitment, a little sociopathic, but we love you for it, Quagmire.
This is Kimmy. I met her in a pop-up window on the internet.
Hi, Peter Griffin, all but separated.
Well, I
Yo!
suppose I could look into adding you two to the
I
reservation.
met the black
guys should
version of this
definitely
chick
come. Yeah, this is
on a
gonna be
pop-up
awesome.
window on the
Relax,
internet.
Peter.
No, they
Quagmire
wasn't
is
a pop-up
feeling
window.
left out,
It was on you
so
now.
he
It
meets
was a
up with
streaming
Kimmy, a
website.
young, impressionable blonde. And right off the bat, Peter is being a weirdo. Throughout the entire vacation, Peter is constantly either trying to bang Kimmy or making super out-of-pocket comments directly in front of Lois. This dude is fearless. It gets even worse when the couples counselor pairs Kimmy and Peter together.
Last night, I did some personality assessments based on yesterday's session. None of you couples are compatible with each other at all. No, that's not a good thing. You have high compatibility with other people in this group. Anyway, I'd like to do an exercise. Just for the morning, you'll all be paired with your more compatible match. Cleveland and Lois.
Oh, cool.
Quagmire and Bonnie. Joe and Donna. And Peter and Kimmy.
Yay! I win couples counseling. So this is the second vacation that I've watched every Jurassic Park.
Peter, you're awesome.
Hey, Kimmy, I'll pay you $1,000 for one whole handful of your butt.
All right, that's enough. I have had it, Peter. You're hopeless, Peter. This retreat is over.
Pay
Fire at the boat.
$1,000
We're
for a
going
handful of her
home.
Keep the
butt.
blonde.
Oh my God, I have a story for this. I can't tell the story. It's all bad.
Away from Peter. While Lois is dead set on going home, the counselor tries convincing her to stay. However, he gets shot. Turns out there is a massive revolt from the island's native people, and they take all foreigners or tourists hostage. In the end, it turns out the attack is all a part of the counseling, and everyone returns home safe. But I'm sure Peter and Lois had a long conversation about Kimmy.
Number 18. Sold into slavery. Peter is an incredibly callous idiot, particularly when it comes to Meg.
Buying my teenage daughter. Oh.
Dad, what are you doing?
All right, Meg, this is only going to hurt for about 3 weeks. What the hell?
After running up a tab at Mort's pharmacy, he offers to sell Meg to Mort's family as a slave, since Mort's son Neil has a crush on Meg.
You owe me $34,000.
All right, listen, I got another idea. What if I sold you my daughter?
Huh?
Yep, all you gotta do is sign this contract.
Are you out of your mind? You can't sell me, you fat son of a bitch.
However, Neil's involvement with another girl makes Meg jealous enough that she signs the contract herself.
What do you think of that, Neil? Daddy bought you a girlfriend.
Excuse me, if anybody's interested, I already have a girlfriend.
There's no way. Wait, what?
Leading to her performing unpaid, backbreaking labor.
Neil, not so fast.
Meg, you need to fulfill your contractual obligations.
What are you talking about?
All right, Meg. According to the contract, every night you have to put on my pajamas.
Fortunately, Meg is able to get out of it, but the whole experience just strikes us as terrible all around. Number 17. Her boyfriend is stolen by her mother. Meg really has the worst luck with romance, and one of the most mortifying occasions happens when she finds Anthony, who at first seems to be the best and most normal guy she's ever dated.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
On the lips.
Mother... What are you, Birdman? Sicko.
Do you think your parents liked me?
Yeah. Can we make out now?
Oh, I forgot my...
And we know he's normal because her parents had him examined.
He seems to be completely normal.
I can honestly say for the first time that I am attracted to our daughter. This must be what other fathers feel like.
I don't think
this was worth the 500-mile drive.
Lois, feeling unattractive at her age, makes a move on Anthony, leading to a breakup with Meg.
Can I kiss you?
Let me ask you this. Do my gray hairs bother you?
What gray hairs?
Kiss me.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know where...
Rape?
Although Meg does take some unhealthy consolation from having done some extreme things with him and sharing that with Lois.
Look, I understand that you're upset.
You made out with my boyfriend! How could you do that?
I don't know, sweetheart, but I am so sorry. It was an awful thing that I did. I never meant to steal him from you.
Number 16, almost killed by a school bully. Meg has been bullied frequently by nearly everyone she meets, but some of the most brutal she's experienced is from Mike, a guy at school she accidentally angers.
Sure, sounds great.
Oh.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry!
What's your name, dude?
Meg Griffin!
3 o'clock, Friday. I will destroy you.
Oh.
Mike challenges Meg to a fight and doesn't hold anything back, beating her half to death in front of a crowd.
Listen, before we start, could you not hit me here? Because these are pretty sensitive. Oh!
He punched her pretty! Oh, he punched her ugly again. Punch Rocky Dennis!
It's okay, guys. I'm at peace with what I'm all about.
It's only by using Quagmire's advice for her to use her inherent grossness, real great for her self-esteem, that Meg is able to survive at all.
Ugh, your kiss is definitely not on my list.
He's older.
You missed! Oh, what's the matter, Mike? Can't punch a girl in the face? You'd be surprised what my face can do to you!
What's your problem, dude? You've got major issues.
Number 15. Accidentally made out with Chris. On Halloween, Meg and her friends are excited to go to a party, despite some catcalling from Peter.
Okay, your turn to spin the bottle, guy dressed like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, dressed like. All right, let's go make some white water.
Her brother Chris attends the same party and both of them wear masks. Unfortunately for them both, a game of spin the bottle leads them to unknowingly spend time in a closet together.
Let's go! Other people want to use the closet. You guys! Oh my god.
Upon realizing this, both of them are mortified at the fact that they've made out, and apparently other things, as well as having the fact revealed to everyone at their school.
Oh my god! Oh, we did so much!
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
We're disgusting! We're a disgrace to our family!
Oh, maybe I can get in on this.
Number 14. Used by a poltergeist. When spirits menace the Griffin family, surprise because of Peter, it's pretty traumatic for them all, but Meg especially. When Stewie's lost on the other side after entering his closet, the family discovers that the exit is in Meg's backside.
Poltergeist.
I haven't seen anything suck this much since I Heart Huckabees!
Oh, I wish that scary-looking clown at the end of my bed would go away.
Hey, Skinny Britches.
Stewie? Oh my god, Stewie, honey! Where are you? Peter, I can't find him anywhere.
Mommy?
Stewie? Where are you?
Look behind you, you stupid cow!
Stewie? Oh my god, what's happening?
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I want to try something.
I remember.
Peter and most of the rest of them have a field day with this, throwing things so they come out of Meg's butt and using the portal to make other juvenile jokes with no regard for Meg's feelings.
I will, Peter.
I don't feel anything!
Now she knows how I felt when I was at her piano recital. No, you're doing fine, Meg.
Stewie, you're all right.
Oh, thank God you guys are... Ew, you're covered in slime.
Number 13, having her kidney stolen. Meg finally appears to have met a nice guy off of the internet and has a seemingly nice date with him on Valentine's Day.
Yes, I like Coldplay.
God, Toby, I can't believe how much we have in common. It's like we were meant to find each other.
I know. To us. Meg, if you were any more beautiful, that'd be neat.
So what should we do next?
Only to wake up after he has stolen her kidney.
Toby, what happened?
Oh, I just harvested your kidney.
Look at the size of the scar.
Sorry, it's my first day on this job.
Well, where did you work before?
Circuit City.
Granted, Meg manages to guilt trip him into spending a surprisingly nice day together, to the point where he gives her back her kidney.
Bastard!
Sorry, Meg. Black market organs are big money, and I promised my bosses a fresh kidney. No hard feelings.
Wait! You also made a promise to me. You promised we'd spend Valentine's Day together. The whole day.
I'm about to go drop this
before I
kidney off.
go,
I'll be back in 15 minutes.
For me? My kidney!
I wanted you to have it.
Oh, Toby, I love it. Thank you. Oh, this has been the best Valentine's Day ever.
That's sad.
But it's still incredibly sad that this is one of the high bars for Meg's dates. Number 12, dumped at a fire station for being born. While it can figuratively seem like Meg has been needlessly hated on since the day she was born, this is almost literally true. When the Griffins visit a fire station, Lois and Peter reminisce about their children's first trips to the fire station.
Oh, Stewie, how exciting. Your first visit to a real fire station.
Yeah, you kids always loved your first trip to the fire station.
Revealing in a cutaway that Meg's first visit was when they attempted to abandon her as an infant.
You remember when we took Meg?
Well, even if you don't like Meg, no baby deserves that. Number 11, being comatose after nearly drowning. Following a rainstorm, the Griffin house is flooded.
I know, about the water, right?
Wow, cool!
Hey, Chris, come here.
What? Why?
Just come here.
What is it, Dad?
Does it feel like the water suddenly just got warmer?
No.
Oh, that's right, it's pee that makes it warmer.
Rather than to get out fast, Peter demands Meg grab him some beer from the fridge, which is submerged.
Peter, the water's rising fast. We gotta get out of here.
Hang on, Lois, there's a case of beer in the fridge. I can't leave that behind. Meg, you're a good swimmer. Go get it.
What? But Dad!
And for God's sake, do not be afraid to make me a sandwich while you're in there.
After accidentally trapping herself, Meg nearly drowns, with Peter observing this and callously not saving her immediately.
You cannot wait to criticize her at every turn, can you?
Go get her!
Well, Lois, I am sorry for snapping at you earlier. You were right to criticize Meg. She could not even handle this simple task.
My God, we better get her to a hospital. She doesn't look too good.
Yeah, she looks worse than Andy Garcia when he had his conjoined twin.
I had a great time with you tonight. You're really amazing.
Thanks, Andy.
This leaves her in a coma. Although Meg recovers, it's still a terrible case of neglect that resulted in more trauma to Meg.
What if she doesn't come out of it?
I know, Lois. I never realized until now how much I've taken her for granted. I mean, she's my only daughter, and I feel like I've never treated her as well as I should have. Hey, Meg, you got something on your shirt.
Although Peter tries to be nicer to her, he clearly doesn't stick with it. Number 10. Everything she goes through during a home invasion. Home invasions are tiring enough, but Meg goes through the ringer when burglars enter the Griffin house.
Some sandwiches.
Wait a minute, that's a great idea. If Meg can get through the vent, she can sneak out and go get help.
Dad, I can't go through the vent.
Yeah, she's right. We need to grease her up so she doesn't get stuck. Everybody spit on Meg.
Stop! Stop! You got Stop! Stop! Okay, I meant I can't do it because there are burglars down there.
Come on, they're not gonna touch you. You're covered with spit.
Be careful, Meg.
Firstly, she's smacked by Peter with a bat for startling him. Then, she's sent out of the panic room to get supplies, but not before the rest spit on her.
No, don't use that mustard. Use the other mustard. Oh, God, Meg, they know you're there. Quick, scrape that mustard off. Use the other mustard.
Oh no! The burglars got my baby!
Meg is then held hostage by the thieves who mistake her for a boy. The capper is that she's arrested at the end of the evening for harassing them, and her family doesn't even care.
You know, where I'm like helpless and you guys take turns, you know?
Oh, no! Oh, God! Oh, no, 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 no!
What'd she say?
She asked if we were gonna have our way with her.
Ew!
No, seriously, I won't scream or anything.
No! No sale.
Come on! I'm pretty!
Wow, you saved our lives, Mr. Swanson!
We've captured the burglars.
Oh, thank God.
Unfortunately, they're pressing sexual harassment charges against your daughter.
Well, that was a close call.
You know, Meg should probably get a lawyer.
Oh, sweetie, thank you for keeping our spirits up with your stories.
Your daughter's a sexual predator. If you don't do anything, she could go to jail for a long time.
Number 9. Pelted with rancid meat. Meg's interactions with the rest of her classmates are generally negative and frequently involve them throwing things at her. In an attempt to become popular leads, Meg tries out to become a cheerleader, but instead she's pointed towards becoming a flag girl.
Hey guys! What do you want, Meg?
I'm here to try it for cheerleading.
Peter Rabbit would be wise to stay out of Mr. McGregor's garden. Why don't you try the Flag Girl Squad?
The members of which are rather, well, offbeat, you could say.
Are you trying out for Flag Girl?
Soda blown.
Then, just when Meg's performing in front of the whole school, the popular kids melt her with rotten meat and the crowd laughs at her.
Yay, Meg! Ah, man, I love how these kids celebrate these days.
Number 8. Forced to drive her dad and his friends around. After Peter loses his driver's license doing something typically moronic and dangerous, Meg is forced to act as her father's personal chauffeur.
Just trying to amuse myself since I don't have a damn driver's license.
Look, Peter, it's getting a little annoying having you around the house all the time, so you'll be happy to know I got you your own personal driver.
My own driver? Holy crap, that's awesome. Where is he?
She's right here, Peter.
If I got a suspended license, I gotta ride around town with stinky McPoop pants. I want apple juice.
Dad, you left your apple juice at home.
I want apple juice.
You want to watch SpongeBob?
Yes. With apple juice.
Driving him and his friends around on their drunken escapades. While doing so, Meg must endure their childish antics, which include setting her hat on fire while she's driving, and then having beer poured on it.
Hey, Meg, don't be such a hothead.
What?
Hey, Meg, you sure look hot today.
What?
Hey, Meg, I lit your scalp on fire.
This, in particular, leads to her getting into an accident and prompts her to take out her repressed rage on the other driver.
Oh, God, stop!
Number 7. Getting the mumps because she wasn't vaccinated. While at a convention, Peter forces Meg to take a photo with a man with the mumps, infecting her with the disease which Peter never bothered vaccinating her for as a child.
Come on, it'll be funny. What a wonderful novelty photo this will make. Thanks so much, buddy. Hey, how'd you make that awesome mask?
It's not a mask. I have the mumps.
What? You came to a Star Trek convention with the mumps? You could be infecting people with the disease.
Yeah, like that old gypsy did to Britney Spears in that Stephen King book.
Thicker.
This forces Meg to suffer through the painful swelling and remain bedridden.
Meg, I know you hate having to be in bed all day, but your father's bringing in the old TV.
Hey, Meg.
Peter, what the hell?
I don't want to catch the mumps, Lois. Here's your TV, Meg. It's a little old and there's no remote and it only gets one channel and it's not on that channel right now.
Where, instead of being understanding, her family mocks her, and in Peter's case, continues his casual abuse of her, with her only solace being religion she finds on TV.
She walked it off.
Finally.
Up next, Kirk Cameron.
Ooh.
To talk about God.
Ow.
Hi. Welcome to the Religion Channel's #1 show,
Kirk and the Lord, just hanging. With me, Kirk Cameron. Today, I'm gonna tell you why God will always be there for you, even in the worst of times.
No thanks.
Number 6. Thrown off a boat. The Griffin family enters a boat race against Carter Pewterschmidt.
Snap, snap.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be along, Daddy.
Ahoy, Mr. Pewterschmidt!
Peter, what the hell are you doing in my bathtub?
Oh, this is not a bathtub. This is the SS Pewterschmidt kicker.
This is ridiculous. I won't have a member of my family racing in a bathtub.
Well, Daddy, you didn't want Peter in your boat, so Team Griffin is gonna give you a run for your money.
But their bathtub with a sail fails to outrace Carter's yacht.
Loser!
What did he say? Hello?
I said you're a loser.
Who is this?
There's the finish line. We can't let him beat us.
Hoping to lose some weight and gain speed, the family ditches their life jackets. Realizing that they need to lose just a little more weight, Peter grabs Meg and tosses her overboard.
Oh!
It's working. Just need a little more.
Without the life jacket that he made her take off. Great parenting right there.
Oh.
But it's not just Peter who is to blame. No one seems to care that Meg was thrown overboard, as everybody cheers when they win the race.
We love you, honey.
Lois, what the hell were you doing out there?
Not listening to you for once, Daddy. And look what happened. I had a lot of fun. I should have stopped listening to you a long time ago. Let's go home, Peter.
Right behind you.
The sacrifice was clearly worth it for them, and to make matters worse, Meg is eventually fished out of the sea and mistaken for a manatee.
What is it, sir?
That's what we call a manatee, boys. Or in nautical slang, the sea cow.
Number 5. Kidnapped by her own brother. Like 15 minutes of shame, Better Off Meg is an entire episode dedicated to the title character's mistreatment.
Why are you here? It's skip day.
It's skip day? Nobody told me.
She's unpopular and unattractive. Tony?
Meg is presumed dead owing to a driver's license mix-up.
How did this happen?
She got in a car wreck and was burned beyond recognition, and I leveled up on Fortnite this weekend, but you probably only care about the first 2 things.
Oh, dear God, no!
All we found was Meg's driver's license at the scene.
But her funeral is poorly attended.
Kind of feel bad. There's nobody here.
I know. We're not even here. This was the right decision.
Chuck E. Cheese is way
Hey,
better
Chris,
than
I'm
you.
super sorry your sister is dead. Mwah.
Realizing that she is unloved, Meg decides to strike out on her own and forge a new identity.
My name's not important. What's yours?
My name? My name is...
Slim Shady?
Hallway. Natalie Hallway.
Our hearts are already breaking by this point, but it gets worse. Chris becomes enormously popular at school, with Meg's death bringing him a lot of attention.
Hey, Griffin, I heard you scored with the girls' basketball team yesterday.
Yep, 12 points and 8 rebounds.
Aw, Griffin, you're the man.
Meg eventually becomes homesick and contacts Chris, but he doesn't want to lose his newfound popularity.
Hello?
Hey, Chris.
Meg! Are you alive?
Yes, I'll explain everything. Can you come meet me?
Okay, still at the cemetery? Alive?
Chris, you already know that part.
Oh, right. So you suddenly got sick of your new great life?
No, Chris.
So he throws her out into a moving van and has her tied up in a creepy warehouse. Well, we know where his priorities lie.
On the couch, but there's something else.
What is it?
Let's talk about it in the van.
Chris, what are you doing? Let me out!
Sorry, Meg, but I can't let you come home just yet. I'm too popular now.
Well, Meg, looks like you really are dead this time. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you die. I wonder what I'll see.
Oh, yeah! Over! I'm a tomato!
Number 4. Abandoned during a family call. In Seasons 4, Jungle Love, Chris joins the Peace Corps and goes to South America.
Approaching your assigned village. Tell the people to work together and drink clean water. Oh, and by the way, the word colored still flies down there, so get your fill.
Hello, I am Chief Oleki. Welcome to my village.
He calls Lois to check in, and both Peter and Stewie join the call to great enthusiasm.
Chris, buddy, thank God you're okay.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, this has been driving me crazy. Who was the chick on Remington Steel?
Hello?
Stephanie Zimbalist?
No, Stewie Griffin. Who's this?
Ah, thank you.
Chris, what are you doing down there?
Relax, Mom. I'm having a great time.
They ask Chris about his adventure and seem like a happy family unit until Meg joins the call.
When are you coming home?
How's the food in South America?
Do the women there have exposed clitorati?
I'll be home in a month after people have forgotten I'm a freshman.
Well, please
What
just
is
take
a
care of yourself,
clitorati?
honey.
Hey, guys. Is everyone on the phone?
Oh, I gotta go.
Something's in the oven.
I lost a shoe.
Chris, Lois, and Peter all make excuses and hang up, leaving Stewie alone and the other family members not to leave him alone with her. Even the baby wants nothing to do with her. That can't feel good.
Hey, how's school?
Hi, Stewie.
Listen, I am swamped, but, Mom has kept me up to date on everything you're doing, and I think it's just great. Hanging up now.
Number 3, rejected for not owning a Prada bag. Teenagers can be incredibly mean, as evidenced by Season 2's Love Thy Trophy. Meg is made fun of for not owning a Prada bag, with one girl commenting on her big ugly purse.
Love the color of your Prada bag.
Yeah, but yours has that great clasp.
Hey, Meg, you want to come to lunch? Oh, you know what? There's no room in my car for your big ugly purse.
To make matters worse, she's even smacked in the face by a teacher's bag as she runs off to join the girls.
Meg, let me tell you about popularity.
Mrs. Canner, are you coming?
Bye.
Wanting to fit in and buy her own Prada, Meg gets a job at a pancake restaurant.
What a precious little boy.
Oh, that's my, son.
Your son? But you're just a baby yourself. Henry, give the little skank a nice tip.
She eventually gets her own bag, but as is befitting her luck, she's forced to give it up to Stewie out of foster care.
Meg Griffin sporting her stylishly cool brand new.
Oh, Meg, a woman from Child Services came and took Stewie. She said we fed him dog food.
Dog food, huh?
Meg, is that a real Prada bag? How in the world did you make $1,100 as a waitress in 1 week?
It's easy. When you're the unwed teenage mother of a crack-addicted baby.
Granted, it's partly her fault, but that Stewie is there in the first place, so we can't feel too bad.
Cakes.
Poor little guy. Pancakes must be street for crack. Damn those parents of his.
Sarah, forgiveness. Now, Stewie, why don't you go play with the others?
Stewie, come complete a rainbow.
I've got a better idea. Let's go play swallow the stuff under the sink.
Number 2, sucked into space. Sooner or later, every franchise goes to space.
Oh, this is amazing, Chris. Look at this, Lois. A week ago, we call him stupid, and now he's giving tours of the space shuttle. Negative reinforcement. That's the key. Right, stupid?
Oh, I'll do better.
Chris attends space camp and gives his family a tour of a shuttle.
Better.
So do you know how all this stuff works?
Well, I don't know what most of these buttons do, but I know this big red one is the one you press to launch.
During the tour, Stewie presses a shiny red button and launches the family into space.
I prefer to die giving you the finger.
If this is what it takes to get out of Florida, fine.
You know what? You only live once. I am sticking my head out the window.
Yes!
Leading to an Apollo 13 crazy storyline in which Mission Control tries to get them back.
Mom, I'm scared.
I don't believe it. Are we really stuck in space?
Oh, God, what if we have to live up here for the rest of our lives? I'm gonna miss drinking at the Clam.
They've re-entered the atmosphere!
But while they're up in the shuttle, Stewie decides to kill some time by pranking Meg. Finding her in a cargo hold, he decides to open the bay doors to give her a little scare.
Hey, Brian, check it out. Meg's poking around the cargo hold. I'm gonna give her a little scare.
But instead of a little scare, Meg is jettisoned off into the vacuum of space. Last but not least, number 1, her newspaper is hijacked. Meg tries hard, but nothing ever seems to work out for the poor girl. Needing more extracurricular activities to attend university,
My days in college were so exciting. This one time, the National Guard came and shot some of my friends.
You must be the Griffins. Come in.
Meg decides to write for the school newspaper She makes a serious attempt at investigative journalism, focusing her sights on a scandal in the mayor's office.
You spent public money investigating this? Thanks. You know, I think I have my story.
Your story? Wait a minute.
But finding the story being very boring, Peter hijacks the newspaper and turns it into a sensational tabloid.
Look, I know kids, and this story's gonna put them to sleep. Now, Meg needs something that's gonna pull those kids away from their rock'em sock'em robots and that.
Not only that, he runs a libelous story about actor Luke Perry hiding his sexual orientation.
Luke, time for dinner.
In a minute, babe. I'm just reading every high school newspaper in America to see if I'm mentioned.
Unsurprisingly, the story gets them in serious trouble when Perry decides to sue.
You are so sued.
Dun 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 dun.
So much for a career in journalism.
To read the papers, he's gay.
Peter, you can't just print lies about people. Luke Perry has a wife and son.
So what? A lot of these famous types lead secret lives that we don't even know about.
These are times Brian Griffin got what he deserved. Starting at the time Brian tried to abandon his family and needed Peter to save him from euthanization. Okay, so Quahog's in the middle of a freak heat wave and the Griffins have no air conditioning. Where are they? Europe? That's right, Europe. Get an AC unit and start wasting electricity like the rest of us.
The Rhode Island Dog Show Championship is in Quahog this year. First prize is $500.
If they had a dog that won, they could afford a new air conditioner. Hey, they have a dog. And what luck, this one can talk, walk on two legs, and has a crippling alcohol addiction.
Sorry, I don't do dog shows. It's not my thing.
Yeah, neither is paying bills, so I think it's about time we start pulling your weight. So Brian agrees to compete, and he turns out to be the second coming of Air Bud. But the last part proves to be too demeaning for him.
This is the part where you beg for a treat.
Oh, I don't think so.
Come on, who hasn't embarrassed themselves for money? If the big dumb streamers can do it, so can you.
Me and the little shred of dignity I have left will be waiting in the car.
Big words for a guy that drags his butt across the carpet.
Oh, one time I did that. One time.
Fed up with being embarrassed, Brian decides to exit the car in a huff.
Pull over now.
Fine.
Now on his own, Brian will make sure he's never embarrassed again.
You been chasing cars tonight, boy?
Look, the name is Brian. I was just out for a little walk, that's all.
Without a leash.
Leave it to the fuzz to keep the fuzzy people down. Peter thinks Brian's ungrateful for all he's done for him. You know, he does have a point, which I think is the first time I've ever said that about Peter.
Look, you got everything you could possibly want right here. Now just eat your cinnamon bun and stop being a bad dog.
Ooh, that might have been too far. On that note, Brian storms out of the house and tries to strike it out on his own. But he doesn't get too far because he's pegged for the horrible crime of drinking from a human water fountain.
Hey, you! Stay!
With nowhere to go, Brian turns to begging, which doesn't work out very well.
Can you, spare some change? Why? So you can go buy yourself another bottle of booze?
Yeah? I mean, what else are you gonna buy with 2 dimes and a nickel?
Get away from me, you crazy animal! All right, you want me to be a crazy animal? Okay, I'm a crazy animal.
So Brian starts attacking everyone around him, catching the attention of Peter. But before he can get to him, the popo grabs the doggo. That one didn't work as well as my last. I'll admit that.
Oh, he's cute. Aren't you precious? Lethal injection. Next.
Jeez, that was quick. No trial, no jury, no nothing. Surely there's a dog lawyer who could take on his case. But Brian does manage to secure a hearing, so he studies up on every law book he can get his hands on, as well as some adult reading. On second thought, maybe just go ahead and put him down. And the hearing goes exactly how you'd think it would if this happened in real life.
Wait a minute. Why are we listening to a dog? Take him away!
But before he can get the needle, Peter steps in to defend him.
He's a member of our family first and a dog second. And I'm real sorry I forgot that, buddy.
But the court doesn't seem swayed. Peter didn't want it to come to this, but there's one argument, one plea, one undeniable thing that no court can turn away.
I'll give you each $20.
Deal, he can go.
See, it doesn't matter what you've done. Money is always the answer. I do feel for Brian here, but at the same time, if he's gonna live under Peter's roof, he does more or less have to listen to what he says. He learned the cold, hard truth here, and he's lucky it didn't lead to him losing more than his dignity. But he's lost his dignity multiple times, including when he sabotaged Stewie's play after learning it was better than his failure of an attempt. So Brian's debuting a play he wrote at the theater, and the family is there to support him.
Where do we keep the good scotch?
At your brother's house.
Alright, settle down, champ. But it looks like everyone ended up loving it. I know, I'm surprised too.
This is all I've ever wanted, you know, for
people to appreciate and respect my writing.
Yeah, usually to do that, you'd need to write something good, so congratulations on finally figuring that part out. Brian's success actually inspires Stewie to write a play of his own.
Do you think you might have time to read it?
All right, but be patient. All right, I've got interviews and appearances all week.
You're performing in a small city in Rhode Island, not Broadway in New York. Ease up on the self-importance, why don't you?
The American play was dying. Have we brought it back to life here?
Word of advice, if you ever see anyone dressed like that, they're probably talking like the biggest know-it-all known to man. So after a long night of being a huge douche, Brian comes home and finds Stewie's play. I'm sure he can spare a minute to read a few pages. Can't really gather what he's thinking based on his face. Is it good? Bad? Use your words, writer.
My God. It's miraculous.
Sounds like great news for Stewie, but probably bad news for Brian. So Brian confides his feelings in his cousin Jasper.
I've never read anything like it in my life. It was insightful and fresh and intelligent.
And he wrote it in a night. Kinda blows Brian's life's work out the water, doesn't it?
Tell Stewie it's awful. It's garbage. Do whatever you have to do, Brian, but never let him know he's got talent.
Huh, I guess being a scumbag just runs in the family. When Stewie approaches Brian for feedback, Brian cuts right to the chase.
It wasn't good.
Oh, no, really?
Wow, thanks for the in-depth and thorough feedback, Brian. Your genius is definitely showing.
I was planning to submit it to the Roundabout Theater Company in New York.
No!
Brian talks him out of that, suggesting it'd be simpler if he just gave up. But just to be safe, Brian goes ahead and disposes of Stewie's only copy. Wouldn't want this falling into the hands of someone who will make Brian look bad, right? But Brian starts to get a little hot under the collar when Stewie questions him about it the next day.
Do yourself a favor and move on!
Well, that's interesting, Brian, because I found this buried in the backyard next to your soup boat.
Busted. Now that all that's out there, Stewie finally gets to tell Brian how he feels about his play.
It's filled with terrible double entendres, puns, and stolen bits. There's a line in there from Seinfeld.
He basically calls it a pandering to the lowest common denominator piece of trash. So the play version of Wish It, Want It, Do It?
May every person that laughs at your sophomoric effort be a reminder of your eternal mediocrity.
Damn. That single line was better than anything I've heard come out of Brian's mouth ever. And if that verbal beatdown wasn't enough, Stewie has a bit more salt to rub in the wound.
I just found out that my play is going to be produced on Broadway.
And what's worse? He's taking Brian's lead star.
Hi, Stewie. I'll be right there. I just gotta finish this crap.
So Stewie's invited to a playwright dinner in New York, and Brian decides to tag along to try to schmooze the writers. To his surprise, they've actually heard of his play.
Have you ever heard of A Passing Fancy?
I have.
Oh my God, what a load of rubbish.
Walked right into that one, didn't you? Maybe they can at least give you feedback on how to improve.
It was a piece of on it.
Dang, they should put that on the poster for his play. I do kind of feel bad for Brian having his dreams crushed, but if he can only be successful by keeping other people down, then maybe it weren't very good to begin with. And Brian continued to show his willingness to ruin things for others when he destroyed the town's nativity scene, got Christmas canceled, and spent the holiday in jail. So it's Christmas time, and Brian feels the need to be the family's resident Scrooge when Stewie wants a new toy.
You're crassly manifesting the very consumerism on which Christmas is built.
You can critique Christmas all you want, but don't you hate it when some smug Grinch tries to act like they're better than it? Like, just shut up and eat your candy cane already. When the family goes to the town's tree lighting ceremony, Brian, of course, has to get all snobby about Mayor Wild West's nativity scene.
Oh, great. Just what we need. A religious display on government property.
You know what? I'm gonna let Chris take this one.
Why are you so negative all the time?
Sick of Ebenezer Pooch's negativity, the guys decide to troll him.
Do not even get me started on Christmas caroling.
No, go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh, don't get him started, Quagmire. You don't want to get him started because when he gets started, yeah, he's got nothing.
You know what? Screw you guys!
So Brian decides to responsibly drive home drunk, but ends up spinning out and destroying the nativity scene. Ooh, Jesus won't like that one.
After all I said, they'll probably call this a hate crime.
So he decides to hide the evidence. Now all he has to do is act natural.
That's rather odd. Who would steal a nativity scene?
Want to tell me what's going on, champ?
So Brian admits everything to Stewie, who agrees to help cover for him when Mayor Wild West comes questioning.
I was thinking a hound like you'd be just the thing to help sniff out some new clues. What do you say?
I'd say that sounds like the perfect cover. The criminal never returns to the scene of the crime, except for all the criminals who do that exact thing. So Brian and the mayor look around for more evidence, and Brian tries to throw Wild West off his trail.
You know who we should really be looking at? People in town who don't even celebrate Christmas.
Covering up one hate crime with another. Good thinking, Brian. With the culprit yet to be found, Wild West decides to make a difficult decision.
I'm officially canceling Christmas in Quahog.
Oh no, those people who got mad about red Starbucks cups said this would happen. Can a mayor really cancel a whole universal holiday?
Sorry, Peter, I'm on strict orders from the mayor to confiscate all the Christmas stuff in town.
Good lord, I didn't think a Christmas prohibition could be a thing. These are dark times indeed, and it's all thanks to Brian being a wet blanket about the holidays.
I may just have to send a little text to our mayor.
So Mayor Wild West discovers Brian's car. Brian should be embarrassed for being such a terrible criminal.
No way! No way! You didn't even hide the evidence?
And for the crime of ruining the spirit of Christmas, Mayor West decides to take him to jail. Oh, and I'm sure drunk driving has something to do with it too. So Brian will be spending Christmas in the Slammer, but he honestly doesn't seem to mind.
At least it keeps me away from all the phony joy and crass commercialism.
And you get to be in a cell where people can watch you pee. Well, he is a dog, so maybe he's okay with that. Yet even Brian can't help but feel left out when Christmas morning comes.
Oh my god, the sinks are so dirty.
Oh, they got tennis balls and junk?
I tell ya, nothing gets me in the Christmas mood like the fresh smell of a tennis ball. Christmas is looking pretty nice right about now, isn't it, Brian?
Why am I crying?
Ew.
The penis is right.
Who would have thought it would take a genital scratched into the ceiling to make Brian realize the true meaning of Christmas? Maybe we could all learn something from it.
Brian, you are free to go.
What? Yeah, so this was essentially just a way of teaching Brian a lesson. Christmas is about excessive gift buying and peppermint scented everything, but it's also about togetherness and family. Finally, the prison system actually managed to turn someone's life around. There's a first time for everything. But Brian tried to turn his love life around by dissing his ex-girlfriends at an intervention only to get chased down by them. It's Valentine's Day, and like most days, Brian is spending it alone.
I've had it with Valentine's Day. I'm sick of all of it.
Spoken like someone who can't get a Valentine.
How come it's so hard to meet the right woman? I think maybe it's just time for me to give up.
And spoken like someone completely oblivious to how they act. Never fear, because Stewie knows how to fix this. If you want to know why you failed with all your past loves, why not just ask them?
Oh my god.
No,
for some, a room full of women would be a dream come true, but this may actually be Brian's nightmare.
Somehow things didn't work out. My objective is to figure out why.
Hoo boy, how long have you got, Stewie?
Don't fall for that.
I don't know, the word self-absorbed comes to mind.
And pretentious. Definitely pretentious. And he's
They'll
got a
still
big
sleep with you,
ego.
though.
Definitely some food for thought. Anything you want to add, Brian?
Oh, come on, you're all just mad because I didn't want to be with you.
Hostile and defensive, I like it. But that's not entirely true. Carolyn cheated on him, Jillian got married to someone else, Brooke never had feelings for him to begin with, Rita, Cheryl Teagues, and Kate all dumped him, and Seabreeze, well, I don't think Seabreeze will be much help regardless.
He's insecure. And a blowhard. And he's got a tiny penis.
Well, unless Brian has a humiliation fetish, I don't think this is gonna work out. At least the gals are getting along.
Now, who wants more wine?
This is great. We should do this every Saturday.
Not if Brian has anything to say about it. They want honesty? Oh, he'll give them honesty.
You're an old bag.
No.
You're blind. Your vomit tastes weird. You don't even know why you're here.
Jeez. Tell us how you really feel, Brian.
And you're more of a woman than anyone else in this room.
Well, if that's the way you want it.
Let's go, girls.
Once again, being chased down by a ton of women would be someone's dream, but for Brian, it's a nightmare of his own making. But Brian experienced a true living nightmare when he was legally declared an idiot after trying to sue Stewie for creating a kid's book about him. So while Brian is out and about, he actually gets recognized.
It's really you. We recognize you from your book.
Ah, you've read faster than the speed of love.
You mean the one that nobody bought and that set a record for worst performing book of all time? Yeah, sure, it's probably that one.
I'm talking about this one.
Oh, you should never tell a woman that.
Dumb white dog?
Never tell women that.
By Griffin Stewart?
Dang, whoever this Griffin Stewart is really captured Brian's likeness.
My catchphrase is herf derf?
It's not as strong as whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here, but it is a step up from whoa ass ahoy. So naturally, Brian takes the problem up with Stewie. Maybe he's heard of this Griffin Stewart guy.
You wrote a whole children's book series about me, and you made me look like a total idiot.
Well, who's gonna tell him that he and Flunky aren't exactly apples from different trees?
All I'm doing is presenting you honestly to the public.
That's a very nice way of telling someone, yeah, you're stupid. It looks like Stewie's gonna keep this gravy train rolling, even doing book signings. But Brian won't have that, deciding to get the law involved.
Stuart Griffin, I represent Brian Griffin, who is suing you for defamation.
Honestly, if I were Brian, I would just swallow my pride and ask for a cut of royalty checks. You gonna make me look like an idiot? Well, then I'm about to be a rich idiot. So Stewie plans to prove in a court of law that Brian is exactly that, an idiot.
Brian Griffin is, in fact, an idiot. and therefore cannot be defamed.
Now, I'm curious to know if you could have an actual court case like this. I got a lot of idiots in my life that need to stand trial. Anyway, what's Stewie's proof?
On December 1st, 1951, Treat Williams was born.
Where's the treat?
Thank you.
Interesting, very interesting. Any more evidence?
I will now read the entry for Christopher Walken.
Walk? Go for a walk?
Well, after hearing that shocking evidence, the jury has reached their verdict.
The dog is an idiot. The baby wins.
Ha, classic flunky.
Well, congrats, Stewie. You made me look like a fool up there.
Actually, you kinda did it to yourself. Yeah, Stewies may be wrong to profit off of you, but if you don't want to publicly be seen as an idiot, maybe, I don't know, stop being one. But that didn't stop him from becoming a huge jerk after writing a bestseller, leading to public humiliation on Real Time with Bill Maher. But before he writes that, his bomb of a novel is first returned to him in droves.
We are returning all of the unsold copies of Faster Than the Speed of Love.
Ah yes, the novel he spent years writing and then proceeded to sell 0 copies of. I'd say don't quit your day job, Brian, but you don't have a job.
Okay, that's it. I'm finished.
What are you talking about?
I'm finished. I'm done. It's over. Clearly, I am not meant to be a writer.
It's a tough pill to swallow, but I feel like everyone could have told you this before you went and published 2 million copies.
Writing's the only thing that's giving your alcoholism any credibility.
Yeah, good luck giving that up too.
The #1 book on the New York Times bestseller list is Dream Your Way to Spiritual Joy by Pauly Shore.
Ah, so now he's jealous that a self-help book is doing better than his novel about nothing.
I tell you, I could crap one of those things out in a night.
And so he does just that. Well, okay, he doesn't literally crap the book out. That would be gross, but impressive.
What are you calling it? Wish it, want it, do it.
Love it.
Hate it. But someone seems to like it because Stewie reveals the good news.
Brian, they're publishing your book!
Yeah. You're kidding.
It even gets big enough that Brian's interviewed by the News.
And it's non-fiction, right? Yes, it is. Now, which one is that? I always forget. Is that the one that really happened or not?
Nothing dulls the brain like local cable news. He even gets to do a book signing in New York, where his pompous, self-absorbed ego will feel right at home.
What's your name?
It's Jan.
Okay, here you go, Dan.
It's Jan.
But I think his favorite part is getting to slip his phone number into autographed books for girls he thinks are cute, whether they're cool with that or not.
I'm a little creeped out.
Hey, congratulations. Somebody famous now hates you.
Famous is a bit generous, don't you think? Well, Brian certainly doesn't think so, because he thinks he deserves a better table at restaurants closer to the movie stars.
I have written a best-selling phenomenon. I should be sitting in the front damn room.
His ego's gotten so big that he feels the need to take it out on Stewie. You know, the one who got his book published and is probably directly responsible for his success. But things might be looking up because Stewie's landed Brian on a major network show.
I got you on Real Time with Bill Maher.
You're kidding. That's awesome, Stewie. Great job.
Oh, look, His Highness knows how to compliment.
What's that?
Nothing. Must have been the wind. The annoyed, fed-up wind. Things finally reach a tipping point when, on the day of the appearance, Stewie gives Brian the wrong host to research.
I am so sorry.
I am done with you. Do you hear me? Done. Get out of here now.
Okay, actually, that's the one thing I would say makes sense for Brian to be annoyed about. Still, he doesn't have to be so harsh about it. So Brian goes on the show and, whoa, this is trippy. Well done to the animators, though. This looks solid, right down to Brian's reflection in the table.
I read Wish It, Want It, Do It.
Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.
Might want to save the glad handing until after you find out what they think of it.
I think it's actually quite harmful.
Dang, that's even worse than it just being bad. It's like a bad meal could make you lose your appetite, but a harmful meal could kill you. Deep down, Brian knows this, and he even eventually admits to it.
I was just trying to write something that would sell. I think it's crap too.
Well, with his credibility well and truly lost on live TV, the best thing Brian can do is leave with what little dignity he has left.
Bill, he's urinating.
On second thought, Brian might want to be taken back behind the shed with his dignity, because that's what his dishonest practices will give you. And his dishonesty also earned him the ultimate beatdown from Stewie after he insulted his treehouse behind his back. So Brian is aggravated by construction in the backyard, only to find Stewie is behind it.
I'm having these guys put up a treehouse.
Literally my childhood dream. Too bad there were no trees around where I grew up. I grew up in the ocean. I'm a clam.
Why don't you stop by later and I'll give you the tour? Tell Chris too.
Sure, I'm free.
Once it's done, Chateau Stumont is quite impressive.
Thanks, Stewie. This is a legit little pad you got here.
It's got everything you could want. Plasma screen TV, dance studio space, and a pop-out photo booth. It's really putting the man in man cave.
Do you mind if we take a rain check? I gotta take Chris to baseball in like 5 minutes.
So the two go to leave, obviously impressed by what they've seen.
What
the hell was that?
So we're on the same page? I thought I was nuts.
Oh yeah, they start going in on Stewie's space, criticizing everything from the decor to the type of TV.
I'll tell you what I'm not gonna do. A photo shoot with a top hat and a boa.
A lot of talk for a guy who doesn't even have a doghouse. When Brian and Chris come over again, they find the treehouse completely renovated. Darts, billiards, a bar, now this is a man cave.
The old place just didn't have much of a vibe, you know?
Well, it sure as hell has a vibe now.
The guys seem to really be digging Stewie's new digs.
Well, congratulations, Stewie. You officially have a kick-ass man cave.
Oh yeah, validation, and all it took was sacrificing your identity and interests, just like how nature intended.
Cliche and just desperate. Literally not one thing about that place says Stewie.
Oh, come on.
That's it. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you'll have to die.
Yep, them's the rules. So Stewie invites them over one more time, but not for a drink or a movie like they'd think. The vibes are about to get a lot more sinister.
Welcoming is exactly what I was going for.
Looks like this man cave's about to be turned into Guantanamo Bay.
You don't think I don't know what's going on? I've heard every word you two said about me and about my man cave.
What? They would never say anything bad about your place to your face. The two tried to escape, but Stewie's sick crossbow might have something to say about that.
I invited you into my man cave, all the crap and all you did was humiliate me.
Sounds like a good reason for murder to me.
Stewie, no, please don't kill me.
I'm not that type of person.
Did you make that?
I mean, yeah, I think Stewie makes every weapon he owns. The
literally
only
in the
thing more
books, though,
impressive
so
than his
there's no
engineering
point in
talents is
getting
his
mad.
seemingly infinite bank account.
Check out how sturdy the sight bridge is.
First thing I noticed too, Chris.
It turns out flattery can get you far, and it could also save your life. Stewie actually lets them go after hearing enough compliments. And all Brian and Chris had to do was smile and keep their mouths shut. But
I can't believe he bought it.
well, can't really blame what happens next, can we?
Stewie. Come on, Stewie.
Just walk it off, champ. I'm sure you'll be fine. He could tell the treehouse meant a lot to Stewie and yet still insulted it behind his back with Chris. Since when are he and Chris such good friends anyhow? Hopefully next time he'll leave the bad attitude at home. But when Brian takes his mean-spirited attitude to the internet, he makes people so mad that the Griffins kick him out of the house for good. So Brian and Stewie come across a campus protest that is looking to fight the evil they experience on campus.
The professor told his class to have a nice day, which is microaggression, because in our systemic culture, no day is a nice day.
We've gone from protesting the Vietnam War to this. I guess the children yearn for the picket line.
If you don't want to get fired, don't become a teacher, right?
Totally, you should tweet that.
So he does, but in his slow, self-important crawl to do so, everyone leaves.
See? Oh, you're gone. And the crowd is gone. And the animators are gone.
So now Brian is addicted to Twitter, where he can fire off half-baked topical jokes into the void. Surely there, someone will realize his genius.
0 retweets, 0 likes.
Eventually. But he keeps on trying, deciding to get controversial before going into a movie.
About to see the new Kevin Hart movie. Just kidding, I'm white and went to college.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a banger for sure. Well, he finally got the attention he wanted, but now he's being labeled as a racist pig online.
Hey, are you at Dog Backwards from Twitter?
I am. Are you a fan?
You racist jerk!
And when he leaves the theater, he's chased home by a very angry mob. Maybe they just want to follow for follow.
What you thinking writing that tweet?
What? It was just a joke.
A pretty terrible one at that, which honestly means it's right at home on Twitter. So he deletes the tweet, but he can't delete it from our hearts and minds. The backlash begins to affect the rest of the family, with Lois getting shunned at the supermarket.
She doesn't want to talk to you either. Nobody does. Not as long as you're living with that racist dog.
There may actually be only one person in town who's happy about this, and you can probably guess who.
I told you about Brian. I told you.
If only we had listened to the notorious creep. But when Chris and Meg are confronted at school about this, that's when things get really out of hand. Not a bad reference to the Kingsman church fight scene, even down to the Freebird needle drop.
It was a joke.
Well, you guys may have to switch schools now, considering there's not much of a student body left in this one. Brian does his best to apologize, but anything he says is spun into some kind of culture war talking point.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to apologize.
Why did you say ladies first? That's sexist.
This goes on for a minute, so Brian decides to give the people what they want.
You know what?
Good, good. De-escalate the situation with more escalation.
I'm the self-righteous liberal douchebag, not you! I've kissed a transsexual before! How many of you can say that?
Weird flex aside, it is kind of funny to see how Brian, who is usually viewed as very left-leaning, is actually not left-leaning enough for the current climate. And surprise, surprise, yelling at his haters did not win them over. At least he has his family.
We think you should move out.
What?
Ouch. Well, at least he has, his dog collar, I guess?
Ryan, wait! I ain't kiss no dudes. This collar is ours. It has our address on it.
Well, looks like all he has left is the fur on his back. Please tell me no one comes along and takes that too. So Brian moves into a dingy apartment somewhere in Quahog where the lights don't work and hope seems like an afterthought. It's a character builder for sure, and after that little social media stunt, it looks like Brian is in need of a lot of character building. But Brian actually doesn't grow from this at all, as in the very next episode, he plants drugs on a coworker and breaks his leg getting thrown down the stairs. So we find Brian living in his crappy apartment from the last episode with no friends and no money.
Is your family gonna give you money for the rent?
Yeah, I'm thinking no.
Well, you gotta do something, Brian. You're a week behind.
Looks like he's gonna need a job if he even knows what those things are. So Brian gets the bright idea to work for a crisis hotline. Hopefully he understands he's supposed to be preventing them, not causing them.
Welcome aboard, Brian. This is your coworker, Martha.
Just what he needs, a hot blonde woman. Those always bring the best decisions out of him. He even tries to impress her by staying late at work.
Suicide is not a 9-to-5 problem.
Nice. Might need to put a casualty counter on this guy. She rejects his advances, so he does what any well-meaning guy does. Finds Facebook photos of her to touch himself to.
Oh, Grandpa's funeral. No. Baby looked good in black.
I think I take back any and all sympathy I ever had for this dog.
That's worse than when that one YouTuber exactly what Dr. Fishbein was talking about. I never go for it.
Oh God, no, do not give him a second chance. Do not go back in there.
You know what, Brian? I will. Oh my God!
If that ever happened to me, I think you could definitely expect a call from me to a helpline like this. Brian tries to apologize, but Martha isn't having it and he fears he'll be reported. But if you don't want to get got, you gotta be the one who got the other person.
Plant drugs and call the cops.
Hey, that strategy's gotten me out of some sticky situations. I mean, in my mind, not real life, obviously. But Martha approaches Brian and tells him she actually forgives him.
I just wanted to let you know I'm not going to tell anyone about what happened, and maybe we could get that drink tomorrow.
Yeah, about that.
Found it.
What is that?
Like you don't know.
She actually doesn't know, but she does know who's behind this.
No,
My leg is broken!
Oh, just give it some licks, you'll be fine. From online racist to harasser, Brian is really putting up numbers for scumbags that we've never seen before. And finally, Brian becomes the ultimate scumbag by betraying his own kind for money and almost ends up losing his life doing so. So things start with Brian stumbling across Stewie's latest big money purchase.
I was sick of waiting my turn outside the supermarket, so I bought every coin-operated horse in town.
And of course he's on the unicorn. Color me surprised. How does the baby get so much money anyway?
Investing! I invest in the stock market.
Ah, the stock market. The quickest pipeline to either wild riches or losing everything, next to crypto. Speaking of which, while I have you all here, any interest in investing in Clamcoin? Brian doesn't seem too interested, but changes his tune when he gets into a fender bender.
What the hell?
Ay, Dios mío.
Don't act surprised. You thought your car was in reverse, didn't you, Brian?
Well, don't get so angry. Just tell your insurance what happened, and then they'll, oh, you're driving away because you don't have insurance.
Can't sue what you can't catch. That's my motto. Brian doesn't have the money to fix the car, so Stewie makes him an offer.
Tell you what, give me $100 to put in the stock market, and I'll take care of it.
Bold of you to assume Brian even has $100. But Brian takes him up on his plan, and it turns out to actually work.
Here's 1,000 to fix your car, and here's 1,000 profit.
Is it really that easy? All right, putting my life savings into the metaverse. This is the one. I can feel it.
You gotta teach me how to invest.
Yeah, me too. I lost everything already. So Stewie and Brian become stock buddies, and Brian, the angel on earth that he is, decides to donate every other dollar he makes to charity.
I'm gonna rent a Ferrari and cruise the pier. You want in?
Well, cancer's not going anywhere.
Brian's got a heart of gold, though I think it's actually made from fool's gold. Trying to make even more money, Brian finds an investment for him and Stewie to go in on.
Korean. They make protein shakes. The profits are off the charts.
Hard to believe that when the factory looks like it produces pollution and nothing else, but proceed. Like myself, Stewie is suspicious and goes to take a look inside to find their secret ingredient.
I think I know why it's so cheap. They're made of dog meat.
That's horrible. But hey, I'll try anything once. Kidding, of course. I'm just kidding.
Brian, let's get out of here.
What do you mean? Taking a meeting. This company's worth a fortune.
Brian isn't even a little turned off after this discovery, really showing an as long as it's not me kind of mentality. This is honestly pretty low even for Brian.
Look, I'm investing in this company, and if you're too scared to do it with me, then maybe I'm working with the wrong partner.
So you're betraying not only your kind, but your best friend. Congratulations, you're now officially a Wall Street trader. But of course, Brian quickly realizes the company doesn't want him as an investor.
Here, breathe deeply into this investor's bag.
All right.
No, don't ever trust no chloroform.
But rather as an ingredient.
What? Stewie, it's Brian. You gotta help me. I'm gonna get eaten. Damn it.
Well, looks like the Wall Street shoe is on the other Wall Street foot. Luckily, Stewie gets the message and arrives to save him.
Hey, don't touch me. I'm rich.
He just makes it so difficult to be on his side.
Thankfully, Stewie's trained in the ways of Jim Cotta. That is such an obscure 1980s movie reference that I'm shocked I recognized it. Go give it a watch. It's terrible, but oh so fun.
Stewie! Oh my god, thank you!
Look, I'm not gonna say Brian absolutely deserved to get pureed for trying to fund a dog-killing company, but giving him a little scare was definitely worth seeing.
Never scream out that you have things if someone touches you. If someone grabs you, don't yell out, hey, I have stuff. No, instead what you say is, hey, I charge $40 for that. And a $20 deductible. Hold on now, like, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. Twisms.